That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it. A good Monday to you and yours. This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide for you, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as locally here on Allo Channel 961. I am Austin Orman, joined as always by the Husker Hall of Famer, the 8-year NFL vet, number 44, number 56, Jay Foreman. Jay, a good Monday to you. Happy college basketball season. It's already on. It's already on.
Right now?
We have 3 or 4 games in the books already.
Yeah, those don't count. It's still preseason.
Tell that to the Omaha Mavericks.
It's good. What, they lost?
Yeah, they lost by like 8 to Murray State.
They ain't no joke, though.
They're not.
They can play hoop at Murray State.
And in Omaha.
Yeah.
Shout out Crutch and the fellas.
Yeah, they'll be back in full effect. Sometimes you need a wake-up call. Sometimes, you start feeling yourself a little bit. You get to the tournament. Everybody got the eyes on you. I know Crutch a little bit. I know he was on them, but they were what? They were hearing them. Now they'll listen.
They did.
But you know what, though? You know who I was listening to?
Who were you listening to, Jay?
Jake Sorensen standing on business.
Jake Elia Drinkowitz Sorensen.
Yeah. They knock on that window in there. You got to give it.
Jake's paying attention now. You're good.
You got to give it to little Jakey. Stand on business Sorensen. You got to give him credit. He was. Wait.
You did just call him SOB, but not like that.
I've called him worse than that. And I will continue to call him worse than that.
You've called him pale.
I've called him everything. And then directly
and
indirectly to him and about it. But I'm going to give him his credit. Now, he was probably just a little emotional. You got to understand he's a Dolphin fan. So that's how they usually react. And, everybody's got emotions. And then, he stood on and took the heat. He had a long week here. I was just laughing. Man, people just get, you can't be getting that mad that you up there like get mad at a dude because he was upset at Nebraska's loss. It's not, everybody should just get together and just it's a hard loss. You got to take the L. But I'm gonna give him credit. He stood on business.
Jake Sorensen, tip of the cap to you. Big tip of the cap.
He showed
some moxie.
He showed a little bit. I didn't know he had that in him.
Some cojones.
Yeah.
Some Sam Cassell to him.
No, I don't know. Dude, you going too far.
Too far,
Yeah.
Well,
you went way too far.
All right, well, pushing the envelope.
Yeah. In his mind, he thought he was Sam Cassell. Yeah. But in the reality, he was Sam Castle. He wasn't Sam Cassell.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. Big tip of the cap to Jake Sorensen for that. Big tip of the cap to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Check them out online at themercadobutcher.com, or even better, in person. 3 locations in Lincoln and 1 up in Omaha. 402-464-5685. Cubsker, you're in on our starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Happy Monday to both of you. Cubsker, it is a happy Monday for you. Your Steelers laid it on my Colts. 6 turnovers. So congratulations on the win. Got to wear that one. Pittsburgh continues to own Indianapolis. We'll talk some more NFL throughout the course of the week. But Jay, the headlines of the day, the conversation of the day, Dylan Raiola having surgery on his broken right fibula. He is out for the year. We've gone over that a little bit. We talked about the injury when it was announced. But I think the more interesting conversation to have is in that moment, Dylan Raiola goes down after the strip sack. USC takes over. TJ Lateef enters the game. It's one thing to say, well, he's the backup. The full playbook has to be at his disposal. It's another thing to say, well, he's just a backup. You had to try to protect him. What is the reality? As far as you know it, when you've seen a backup quarterback come into a game on short notice like that, what's the reality of Nebraska's game plan and what they could do or shouldn't do when Dylan Raiola goes out and TJ Lateef enters the game? What's happening on the sideline?
Oh, I mean, you're trying to assess. But one, I'm sure you're waiting to see, how compromised Dylan is. And at that point in time, I've had that injury. I had it significantly worse than him, where I did both the fibula and tibia and tore all my ligaments. So he escaped pretty easily, or pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to assess, that. You're probably trying to slow, kind of calm everybody down. And then you're trying to get, TJ Lateef, like, all right, dude, lights, camera, action. This isn't practice going into a scrimmage where you kind of trying to catch him. In practice sometimes, I had this done to me where they kind of like, I was not the full-time starter. And then they like, all right, you're going in as a rookie. And, be honest with you, my first preseason game I played, I thought I was only going to play backup snaps. Well, Sam Cowart was overweight, so to punish him, he didn't get to play. So then I ended up playing. I just found out the night before. Now, granted, I had a night to prepare. You're just trying to calm him down and try to maybe ask him what he knows, and then assess the where you're at, and then once you kind of get him after a series or two and try to get him focused. It's a lot on his plate. Definitely was probably nervous. Everybody else was nervous, and then so it kind of reshapes your game plan.
Talk about reshaping the game plan.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that look like? Because some people were saying, oh, Nebraska was too basic.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, oh, well, Nebraska did a good job of protecting TJ Lateef with Emmett Johnson in the game. What did you like or not like about what Nebraska asked TJ Lateef and the guys around him to do?
I mean, they know him better. I don't know if they did anything wrong. I think just, over the game, we didn't execute. This is even when Dylan was in there. It's not like it was 14-6.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 14-14?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was 14-6 at half. USC scores.
Okay, what was the score when Dylan got hurt?
When Dylan got hurt, I believe
it was tied up, right?
Was tied up, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, well then, I mean, that's where, where we're at. Maybe we had to lead 17-14 or something. I don't know what. I think we had to lead 17-14.
Yes.
Yeah, because they got the touchdown to get it. Yeah, so you feel you should be pretty conservative. I think you were doing pretty good against the pass against them, and
but conservative and aggressive, not conservative and passive.
But I don't know. That's doesn't mean anything. And that all that, like, you're trying to like debate. Here's the deal: they weren't playing. Nobody played good enough, like efficiency wise. I guess long enough to win the game. Sure, TJ Lateef came in. You'd expect to have like a a separate call sheet, sure. Could they have been more aggressive after that we didn't win the game? Sure, that's always the answer. But I guarantee you, if TJ Latif came in, you start throwing 9 routes, people would be mad because then they start picking the ball off. So I think everybody's looking for a reason or like a finger to point at somebody that for reason why we lost. Ultimately, we just got beat, and we had control of the game, not full control of the game. And USC is like a slippery snake, and we are like an eel, and we didn't, put the dagger in the heart. And they made a couple plays, and then they were able to kind of get us pinned back where we would have had to severely get out of character way back there on the 4-yard line, and we got over our skis a little bit. Now,
literally over the skis.
Yeah,
skis were a half size too big.
You lose your quarterback, and it does kind of affect your team. It affects the coaches as well because Dylan's been able to get up most of the time, and so. TJ would do better this week. He'll have a more, grasp on his game plan and what they need to do with him. He's never played before. I mean, if you want to count the 2 that he played, he probably had better competition in high school.
Right. That was a really good conference he came from at Orange Lutheran.
Just better competition based on his team, the other teams, and all that. We were significantly better than those 2 teams, and so. It was good experience for him to get in there. I'm sure there's things he left on the table. I think the only thing that he really needs to focus on is really being able to separate his eyes, his hands, and his feet from one another. Have them operate individually, but do it all collectively, and that leads to the ball handling. Once he gets that, playing the position of quarterback, I think he'll do just fine.
And that's a game speed reps thing.
Yeah, I mean. That's where that starts everything. It's like a jump shot. It's like throwing a pitcher or a catcher throwing down the first. He just needs to get that, and that's where he got a little sped up a little bit. And that's where he saw some of the ball handling issues. Even when he was running to the left, had the ball in the right hand. That's just kind of you're just out there a little bit in survival mode. So he'll be all right. And that game sure, everybody can look at that, right? That game came down to a couple calls on their sideline, a couple big calls, and a couple big third. It was a 3rd and 6 or something like 3rd and 7, and I was like, this is the game because you could see that they were starting to get ramped up. And it was right, and we didn't get it, and then they got it, and I think they got 29-yard
pass, and then they're rolling.
Yeah, and they came right out there. I think that's exactly what happened. It was 3rd and 6. We had the ball. We needed to get that one that would have been 3 more minutes off the clock than they are in what we were.
Yeah,
we got them backed up, one hand behind their back. We didn't get it, punted it, and I think the first or second play they hit that big
flicker,
big pass, and then they were cooking with peanut oil. Then they got right back there, and then here comes King Smith, and then they get you kind of like rolling. And I think the biggest thing that I learned in the NFL is as a defensive captain. I know I was a defensive captain, but this is one thing I learned as I got older, right, and more wiser, ideally. Talk to one of the best conversations I ever had. Talked with Clay Matthews and Daryl Talley. And they told me that once they learned how to study the personalities of the opposite coaches, he's like, it was easy. Easy in the sense of you could predict plays a lot easier. So, really you got to study the quarterbacks, their personalities, how they wired, because generally people aren't going to get out of character how they call plays. Lincoln Riley, notoriously, when it gets tighter, he's going to try to dial up something, and then he's going to try to turn your nose up. And there's a reason why he goes to speed option against Nebraska. He's just kind of like, I'm going to use it against you. And so they made more plays than us.
Which goes counter to what Big Daddy Travis says on the text line, putting this loss on the coaches. Everyone's to blame.
Yeah, this
to a degree.
You just got beat. I don't think I don't think the coaches everybody wants to talk about the 2 timeouts, right? Okay, that's fine. That didn't lose the game.
Shouldn't have.
Nobody coaches a perfect game.
No, hasn't happened
And
yet.
anytime you lose, it's always either the coach's fault, the quarterback's fault, or the players aren't good enough. It's never that you got beat. Now, I think we needed to execute a lot better. I think we did some really good things though. I'm gonna say this. It wasn't perfect, but Javen Wright was playing. He was playing with the right amount of nastiness and speed and playmaking.
4 solo tackles out of 11 total, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a pass broken out.
Yeah, so he had 4 solos. You'd like generally for him, I'd like to be that up to 6 or 7. But the other 7 or whatever he had with him let you know he was getting there, right? And people don't even talked about it. I don't know if it was. I'm not going to take any credit that I was talking to him about this particular play, but Javen doesn't say much, and I always try to let this is their college, this is their season, so I don't need to be there and I don't know, try to coach him, but I know Javen, I know his dad. His dad was a big unk to me. So I told him, I said, hey, look, dude, 77. I said, the dude with the puffy hair. I said he will tip you, and I gave him the tip when he's pulling. Well, Javen put him to sleep. Now I got to talk to Javen. I said, I didn't ask you to put him to sleep like that. I was like, the dude looked like he was dead. You know what I'm saying? Now he got up and he woke up from his nap, but Javen did his thing. So there was a lot of good things, but you got to get a little bit more consistent with those good things.
Let's keep going through our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Eric blames me. Very simple. Sure, fine. I guess I can wear it. Cubsker, couple different things. I can't remember Nebraska's last 1-score loss that didn't feel like a dagger to the heart. Then also, what do you think about Dylan Raiola's injury coming off of a hip drop style tackle? Could the NCAA do something to get rid of that like the NFL did?
Huh. NCAA.
What NCAA?
Well, if they're going to fix the hip drop tackle, then they didn't need to fix targeting.
Yeah.
So, you know what? How about that? It's I don't like that type of tackling. I think it. I played it when the game was way more physical and way more nasty, but we always had a mutual gentleman's agreement that I'm just talking particularly in the NFL. Is that we all got. This is a job. We all got to get paid. I'm gonna try to hit you as hard as I can. I'm not gonna try to injure you. I think that type of tackle is dangerous.
It's certainly dangerous, but do you think it was malicious?
No,
Which means you got to teach better. You got to make sure you're wiser in the moment, because I don't think this was like Colorado where the guy straight up twisted Adrian Martinez's leg. But Jay, I'm sure you've been.
Is there anything wrong with that?
One guy's down on the ground and then you twist.
I'm gonna ask you again. No, when we playing for real, like for real. And if by chance your big toe hurts, then so be it. You'll be all right. You'll get, they got good trainers over there. Get you in a little sleep pod. Put you infrared
either
on.
way, what are the other options when you're in that
There
moment?
isn't any. I think
you're just trying to fall down because you can't really run through the guy in that situation. But while you're stood up,
it's a byproduct of the rules. It's also it's how these kids do it. They don't care. And there's not that respect. And Dylan's a big old dude, so you got to try to get him down as much as possible, or quick, any way possible.
Yeah.
So I think it's a whole bunch of things. It's unfortunate, man, just because we had control of the game, no matter even how we left some opportunities out there, and we just weren't able to kind of get over that or get over the finish line.
Let's see here. Ben on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Whenever I'm complaining about something, I stop and think to myself, would Jay Foreman call me soft? So with that in mind, am I being soft for being a little ticked off about some of the extracurriculars that went uncalled on Saturday? It was chippy.
It was chippy. Well,
emotionally charged environment.
I told you
what
exactly what the game was.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what they were being told. Exactly what they were being told. Because you have to look and study. I wouldn't even call. I don't know if it's called psychology, but you got to understand where that team is compared to you.
Mhm.
They have to come in here with that type of mentality because they didn't play with it in Notre Dame. So the last 2 weeks they've been told you weren't on edge enough, right?
Yeah.
So then they were trying to embrace the moment. And the only way that they could probably get themselves to reach the physicality level that Nebraska was potentially and did it at, for the most part bring to them is to have the extracurricular activities because it's actually a defense mechanism.
Fight or flight.
Right.
They chose fight.
But it's a defense mechanism because you're not physical.
Mm.
You're doing this to kind of be physical. Now it worked out for him. Now, when I was talking to a couple other black shirts in particular about I'll say this: the blackout looked pretty sweet. I still haven't decided about the black end, but it was cool. It worked. I think if you do it every few years or whatever, I don't know if you do it every year. I like it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The black uniforms look good. So shout out to Adidas. Al. But I think when you understand, you gotta understand when you put that type of uniform on, in particular that type of uniform, the all black, the black shoes, and all that, you better arrive with you better arrive with a different personality.
That's my favorite RJ Barrett quote of all time. Dude
What's
goes
that?
on the road, beats Virginia. It's the classic, that's why we like to wear black on the road because it's their funeral.
Yeah, but you
I know
need
it's
to,
at
but
home,
you need to
but-
come on like you're a Neanderthal. And so I mean, that one probably stings a little bit.
You're gonna make a statement like that, you better back it up.
Yeah, I mean that's
Nebraska played horribly. They certainly
No.
played well.
They played hard. They probably feel like they could have played a little bit better. I hate to even talk about Dylan getting hurt, but it would have really probably been to Nebraska's advantage if he would have, somehow. I mean, maybe for half, but I just think just because that would give TJ more time to kind of get his bearings together.
Yeah.
You're right in the 3/4 through the game, so it's a little tough. But it's been done before, and everybody's got to pull their weight. This is a call to leadership this week inside that locker room.
Matt Rule made that very clear in his presser today.
Because I'll say this now: I know everybody's been complaining about the coaches all day,
including Texter 1000. We see your text,
right?
But
So they've been complaining about the coaches all day. Put that there, okay? We'll continue listening to that for another hour. Trust me. But now the coaches have delivered their message, and I don't know what Matt said, but I'm sure he, stood in front and say, "We can do this, and we can do better, and all that," right? I'm sure. I'm talking about how he addressed the team.
Mhm.
Okay, that's in pot number 2, right? So he's doing the coaching job. They're probably right back to work trying to get their game plan together, offense, defense, and special teams to beat UCLA.
You want to hear from Matt Rule what he said about TJ Lateef?
Hold on, here's number 3.
Okay.
All right. So if you're a captain, okay, or a sub captain on that team, like I'm talking about for real captain, like when you're in it with your boys, you need to pull more weight. All right. Now, all the social media stuff, all that stuff, you need to cut that out. Because and this is why this week is so important. You have a young quarterback. Okay, first of all, the dude was just in high school playoffs last year.
Yeah.
All right, he ain't played a game, essentially a real game in a year.
Right.
All right, so he's going to need everybody else to do their job damn near to perfection, above and beyond. And that doesn't mean you play more like an individual. It actually means you play more as a team.
Take your preparation that much more
right,
serious.
but you play more as a team. So you can't get scoop blocked. You can't get washed down. I can't get beat. I can't miss a check if I'm a receiver. I got to make sure that I'm talking to him. I'm over communicating with him because over communication calms the water. Hit Matt Rule.
Matt Rule.
Hit it, DJ.
What do they need to do to help TJ Lateef throughout the course of the week?
I know for me this week, I'm going to do the best job I can for TJ Lateef because leaders insert themselves in the point of friction and try to take stress off. And I know Sierra Wright, and I know Javen, and I know Deshaun, and I know Rocco and all those guys, every single person in our organization is going to try to do a little bit more so that TJ Lateef can be successful. And I think we could be like an average team and just go out there and be disappointed, you know, that we lost last week and have a bad week, or we could come together and unite. And so I told our guys, either you're in or you're out, and they've all said that they're in. And I would say that to everybody. It's going to take every single one of us, but people nationally will never respect us until we respect ourselves. And I'm talking about our conference, the decisions that they make. I'm talking about the national media. I'm talking about fans. I'm talking about recruits. We have to, in my opinion, at this time, come together and absolutely continue to sow seeds that will manifest themselves in the future. So I wanted my team to hear that. I believe 100% in TJ and what he's going to get done. And we're going to put a great game plan together for him. I hate it for Dylan. I love Dylan. You know, if anyone says anything about Dylan, just know this. The kid had a broken leg and he was warming up and begging me to play. That's all you got to know about that kid to know who he is. I got home that night. I didn't know when I was sitting here with you guys. I thought he had an ankle sprain. When I got home, and literally my daughter was the first person to tell me, because I go one way and my daughters were walking through, and they found out as he found out in the training room, and the doctor called me to tell me what character, what toughness. And I'm very grateful for him. Grateful for like the O linemen who, you know, haven't gotten reps at tackle, and also they have to go out. Tyler has to go out and play tackle. So,
and then also this from Matt Rule: biggest things to address with TJ Lateef being the starting quarterback.
Just I think making sure that, you know, we put together a plan that he's comfortable with everything that he needs to do. As I said, I think, you know, guys are going to have to do a great job of being strong around him, you know. But I mean, I mean, even in the game, like he came out with a check on, you know, down in the red zone, and he checked it. He saw 0. He checked it to a tunnel screen. Jacory's wide open. Is going to walk in. He just dropped the snap. And so he's mentally, though, at a really, really high level. And so he just needs reps. You know, when you're the backup quarterback, you're getting reps, but not as many. And so now he needs reps. Jalen needs reps, and anybody else we use at quarterback will need reps this week.
Rally behind him, get him reps. Anything more to add to that?
No, I mean, they got rally behind him, but then they need to rally. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other part besides rally behind him. You know, they all need each other, and they're, you know, he's going to need them. They don't have to baby him, and I think they need to keep the expectations what they are. He needs to approach like this is his team, and he's driving the ship. So take over, you know, and but everybody else needs to play up to their potential.
Play your game. Play well. We'll go to
better.
break. We will call Brian Munson of Husker Online. How did the recruiting weekend go for Nebraska? We'll jump right back into this football conversation, more on the defensive side of the ball in hour 2 of the show.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right, this is Old School. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you, but right now it's 3:30 on a Monday, which means we're headed to our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in our recruiting insider, Brian Munson of Husker Online. What a treat. 2 shows in a row with Brian Munson. Brian, thank you so much for hopping back on. Let's just get your initial thoughts on the game before we jump into recruiting. Did you like the way the blackout looked, and what'd you make of the way Nebraska played?
Yeah, the blackout was pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. In fact, I saw it just getting recognized online where they do kind of a poll of, like who did the best this weekend at, playing offense, playing defense, whatever. And then it had best atmosphere or best fans or whatever, or best experience. And Nebraska was chosen this weekend for all of that. So I thought, and it got massive props. Like Cooper Terwilliger, who literally was up at Nebraska for Michigan State, which was just like 4 weeks ago. Yeah. He said it was the loudest game he'd been to all year. So it got some major props for some guys that know what games in Nebraska are like, and had been to games before in the past, even games this season, and felt like it was the best experience. So yeah, I think all of the recruits really dug it. I mean, that was definitely the consensus there. And I know that, obviously it's one of those things that we always end up talking about. It's like, yeah, like they all wish that Nebraska would have won, but they saw an effort and another one-score loss, and they definitely took note of all the serious injuries, of course, that Nebraska kind of also had as the night went on Saturday night.
Dylan Raiola, the headlining injury, but we did hear today that Gunnar Gatula, who had been the starting tackle, one of them is now out for the year. He's having surgery. Elijah Pritchett went down with the ankle injury during the game as well. And Brian, like we talked about on Friday, seemed like Nebraska did make the trenches a bit of a focus. How did it go for some of the offensive or defensive linemen with their visits and the feedback Nebraska got from that group of guys?
Yeah, I talked to Josh Hildebrand. He was definitely a guy that came up. And I think what's really interesting about Hildebrand was when he and I were talking, because he visited Nebraska like in April. He came up for like a spring practice or something like that. And when he and I were talking again, like in August, September, he didn't have Nebraska on his list. He had no plans to return back to Nebraska. So getting Hildebrand back to Lincoln this fall, I don't think people really credit Nebraska enough to basically get him back there, because he had no plans of doing that like a month or two ago. But like, a few of them, watched the offensive line. They wanted to see, like, Hildebrand specifically wanted to see how Nebraska's offensive line handled adversity, and I think that they had their fair share of it on Saturday night. And I think ultimately, when you start talking about all the guys that are just, very focused at their positions, they all came away with a really good understanding about like how Nebraska does certain things, how they basically connect the coach's words to the play on the football field. And then it kind of comes down to style is really what it always kind of comes down to. Like, can you see yourself doing that, in Lincoln for the Huskers? And that's always kind of the next question that I have. It's just like, you may find a guy that just does not feel like, it's the right fit for him. And everybody so far has been very excited about it. Like Ahmad Hudson, he got a lot out of that, and so did Cooper Terwilliger. Like, I talked to both the tight ends, so that was a good thing to kind of hear them say that. Yeah, how Nebraska uses the tight end position, it's what I want to do at the next level, and we basically heard the same thing out of the defensive lineman and the offensive lineman.
The tight end position wasn't a huge factor for Nebraska in the game, at least statistically. One big play for Luke Lindenmeyer, but Nebraska did, have two tight ends out there on the field quite a bit, including a more local guy in Caden Echternock. What the guys that you talked about there, Ahmad Hudson, Cooper Terwilliger, for the guys that are on the roster right now, I guess the top three being, at least in terms of snaps recently, Lindenmeyer, Harburg, and Echternock, maybe some Carter Nelson in there. Who would you compare Terwilliger or Hudson to in Nebraska's current tight ends room? Who are they maybe watching closely?
Man, that is so tough, because I literally got a phone call from a buddy that wanted to talk football, and I said, the crazy thing is, it's just, I think one thing that could really help Holgerson and Raiola out would be, I'm not trying to pick on Lindenmeyer at all, because I think that he's had a really good season, but I just don't think that they've been dynamic enough at that position. And I think that when you start talking about Hudson and you start talking about Terwilliger, I think that you ultimately kind of go back to where you felt like the hope was that that's what Carter Nelson was going to kind of look like. But I think that everybody has to remind themselves a little bit, like where, Carter coming from Ainsworth, and this massive jump from, never playing tight end, really only playing wide receiver, and going to the, Big Ten conference to play college football, as well as just, the injuries that he's kind of been through. I mean, I think he's getting up to like the speed of the game and the physicality of the game, playing special teams. I think that's wonderful.
Coming off of injuries as well.
Yeah, coming off those injuries too. And it's just, I think though that this is that gap. I think we're still talking about like that gap. It's just, there's not those bodies in the room, I think, that are kind of more, dynamic playmaker, kind of guys that can put their hand in the ground, play a true tight, back off the line, play some H, and then kind of move out to more of a flex Y. I think you're looking for combo guys, and I'd say that Hudson can do all three of those things, as well as, go out and play X. And I think Cooper can honestly do it as well. He's a very athletic dude. I mean, that's a guy that gets overlooked when you start talking about comparing him to like an Ahmad Hudson. But Cooper is no slouch when it comes to athleticism. So those guys are different to kind of compare to the existing room, because I feel like the person that we kind of described and kind of felt like Carter Nelson could be, and he still could be, was kind of more in line with where I think Hudson and Terwilliger are at.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online from Husker Online. Find him on Twitter at Brian Munson _ the work online, huskeronline.com. He's with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Defensively, Brian, defensive side of the ball, I know you wrote about Kennedy Green, a junior safety. What did he make of his time, and what did you take away from chatting with him?
Well, I mean, it's big because he's another guy that came back to Nebraska very quickly this fall. And, a Georgia guy that Nebraska still wants to be very active in Georgia. number one. Getting him back on such a short turnaround is very critical. I mean, it's just like with Terwilliger. You get that opportunity right away to kind of continue to build this relationship, give him another chance to kind of think about stuff, look at how things kind of are running, which is what Kennedy came to town to do. Kennedy came to Lincoln this weekend to really, I think that he saw like the product on the field, but now he wanted to kind of see how the sausage was made, like behind closed doors. He wanted to understand operationally, like how things kind of happen on a game day. What are the players really doing, on those days, particularly like that long kind of day when you start talking about getting to campus at such an hour and then not having a game until 6:30. Like, what are the things that happen? What are the things that kind of go into it? So he got a lot out of it, and he's talking about getting back again for a third time, which again is a great sign for Nebraska. Whenever you see these return visits, and Amir Brown, like who we haven't even talked about yet, having the 4-star running back, the recent North Carolina decommitment, come back for the second time in 2 weeks, that's an incredible sign. In fact, I've already put in my prediction for Amir Brown to commit to Nebraska, somewhere else down the line.
Interesting. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Anything else you're monitoring here in the recruiting sphere out of this weekend, Brian, that we didn't hit on? Anything over the course of the next month, really, before we get to the early signing day?
I think it's interesting, and I'm getting ready to call him as soon as we hang up. Nebraska had a visitor in town today. They were hosting a specialist, a kicker from Tennessee. His name's Keenan Fisher. I'm getting ready to go call him right now. He just got back to me, so I'm looking forward. And he's an athletic dude. I mean, this is like a real true 3-sport kind of athlete, smart guy. 34 ACT. I think that I'd probably take the ACT twice and not score what he did. But no, seriously, I think that this is a good move because I think we saw it on Saturday night. We just don't have that guy with that range that can consistently kick, from 50 yards and beyond. And you really have got to have that. And there's 2 clips, I think, on Fisher's Twitter, I think of him kicking from 50 winners from 51, and I think that he had plenty of leg, beyond that. So I think this is a good move by Nebraska, and obviously if it's somebody that Eckler likes, I think Nebraska fans are going to be all in on that.
All right, Brian, we're done with you then. Go make your call. Go talk to this young man. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your conversation. I will definitely follow up with you about Keenan Fisher next week. Thanks, Brian.
Sounds good. See ya.
Brian Munson, again, our guest from Husker Online, Brian Munson _ on Twitter and HuskerOnline.com. Joining us, as always, on our Allo Fiber VIP line, where they understand both the importance of local service or exceptional service and local heart. We'll go to break, talk a little World Series. I got to do it. Come on. It was a classic game over the weekend. We got to talk about it a little bit. And then more Nebraska football and Nebraska basketball. Season tips off. The Husker women got a big win over Northwestern State today. We'll dive into the Nebraska men's game against West Georgia, the non-conference schedule set up for the Huskers, and more, all in hour 2 of the show.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds, mapping high around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover, calm winds, below around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Fall is officially here, and Brown's Shoe Fit has just the right style and comfort your feet deserve. Stop in to see a wide selection of all your favorite brands, including Brooks, Hoka, Echo, Keen, and many more. At Brown's Shoe Fit, they take the time to measure your feet to ensure proper fit. They also have the largest selection of Uggs and Hokas in Lincoln. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, wrapping up hour 1 of Old School. Big thanks again to Brian Munson for joining us. Make sure you go check out our friends at Grata Bar and Lounge, located in the Clock Tower Shopping Center, Clock Tower Plaza on 70th and A. Really appreciate them for everything they do for us here at the station. Jay, while you were on air with Nick breaking down initially the Nebraska-USC game, World Series Game 7 was going on up north of the border in Toronto. All-time classic. 3 of the top dozen plays by championship win probability added, like how likely a team is to win the championship, all happened in Game 7. 9 of the most, the most impactful out ever, with Mookie Betts turning the double play, 40% championship win probability added, and the most plays that swung a championship likelihood by at least 15%, all in one game.
Yeah.
This World Series, big shout out to the people who compiled this over at The Athletic. The 2025 World Series had all of this across 7 games. Pinch hit grand slam, 2 extra inning games, 2 extra inning homers, one of which was the walk-off from Freddie Freeman after the 18-inning classic, and then Will Smith in the go-ahead shot there in Game 7. See that walk-off homer from Freeman, a 7-4 double play. You look at Kike Hernandez to Miguel Rojas, back-to-back homers leading off a game. Jays did that in Game 5. A complete game from World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who ends up doing what Randy Johnson did, pitching 3 times in the same series. He pitched on the road, complete game, win, comes in relief, and gets the win last night in another game in there as well. 12 strikeouts, 0 walk game from a rookie who started the year at high A ball. Shohei Ohtani reaching base 9 times in one game. And then the World Series flipping home run when you look at Miguel Rojas. Absolutely incredible, I think, in terms of a platform for the sport of baseball. And I think that really gets reflected in some way through this. We know football is number 1, especially in the NFL. College football might be number 2. But Major League Baseball and the NBA, kind of on even footing. Both championship series ended up going 7 games. Obviously, Thunder Pacers went 7 games, and now you had Dodgers versus Blue Jays. But, Jay, the average viewership numbers for the NBA Finals, 16.6 million in Game 7. Major League Baseball, 26 million.
Yeah, it was a great series. Unfortunately for Toronto, you probably are going to look back on that last game, even though it was an all-time classic, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to look at it, but like leaving all those bases or runners on base.
Yeah,
it's always just if we could have just got one through the
one,
just one, and they always came up like gangbusters, and
mm-hmm.
it's 2 of the best teams, and I think Toronto came in under the radar, but they're a force to be reckoned with, and obviously the Dodgers are well paid for, but they actually have more grit than you think than a team that just goes out and in the easy mindset and say they buy players. So, man, I mean the big time players made big time plays, and Mookie Betts is you got to think it was a big deal when he left Boston.
A huge deal.
Yeah,
huge. Boston was so stupid for doing that.
Yeah, but he's amplified since then.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to bet on yourself, and then sometimes you need the assistance of your homegrown franchise. So I think those sports of when you talk about basketball, even hockey. I know obviously we don't have a hockey team around. I know UNL has a club team.
Got our stars that are on the
airwaves.
Airwaves, yeah.
So you don't have that professional, like for me in Minnesota, and then obviously.
Well, I mean, high school hockey is borderline professional in Minnesota.
Yes, but I'm just saying the professional team in your area. You don't have one in close proximity, probably just Minnesota or Denver, and Colorado Avalanche, to be specific. But the 2 sports you mentioned, they're on the come up. You got great players making great big time plays. You still have other teams that are starting to come up, and obviously, when you think of Aaron Judge and the Yankees have been pretty consistent, and you're waiting for them to get in there. And obviously, everybody would like to see the Yankees and Dodgers, but I think you got the I know you, but
screw the Yankees. Don't need them.
2 best teams, and it was an all-time classic. I mean, the game that went to like 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and then to tee it up to essentially a few hours later because they get to the clubhouse like way early in the morning. It was well earned. And so, you want to tip your cap to the Dodgers.
I want to go back to what you said about the big money. People obviously think about what Shohei Ohtani did. I mean, reaching base 9 times in a single game, basically single-handedly winning them. I think that would have been, Game 3, I think it was. It played a part pretty much throughout the series. Came in, wasn't his sharpest, his last pitching appearance, but, got bailed out there in Game 7. Max Scherzer for Toronto. Battled his butt off at age 41, pitched pretty well, kept his team in the game. It was the homegrown stars for Toronto. Vladdy Jr. leads off the 11th with the double, gets to third base. That's where he ends up getting stranded after the double play from Kirk. Yamamoto, World Series MVP, they paid like $300 million for, essentially sight unseen, out of Japan after he got posted. But then it's the homegrown guys as well. You look at Andy Pages, defensive replacement center field there in the 9th inning. That fly ball tackling his left fielder, Kike Hernandez, holding on, making the catch. Miguel Rojas was the one that squeezed the final out of the double play over there at second base in Game 6. He's the one with, 1 out in the 9th, top of the 9th, 2 outs away from elimination. Randomly, he's the one that comes through. That's the beautiful part, I think, of October baseball, Jay. And you see it sometimes in football, but I think more so in the NFL and maybe even the NBA. It's more about who are your stars? Do they deliver? Can they deliver? that's what I love about baseball, is that I think this World Series really amplified that, yeah, it's about the big name stars on both sides, but October and now November, when Game 7 was played, is really where those legends are made. You had the stars come through, and you had the scrubs come through and become October and November legends.
I mean, it takes a full roster to get it done. There's some great stories too, man. I mean, Vlad Jr., just essentially, if it wasn't Ohtani, it would have been him. It was great, man, and baseball really amps up, and obviously when you get to the playoffs, and now they have a big feat and a big they have to match it next year, and the off season starts now. Heck, I even saw my boy Gary Sheffield in the contemporary area of Hall of Fame. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time.
I'm gonna guess you tried that batting stance a couple times with the golf club.
No, well, it didn't look like that. I broke a couple golf clubs like that. I like Gary Sheffield, just because even though he was a great player, he never really got his due. Just due.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at his stats, he was cold.
You could rake.
Yeah. Now we need to get him and my man Albert Bell in there. I would go to that.
Woo!
The two most gangster dudes. Hey,
Nick and I fight for your second ticket, your +1.
yeah, but I ran. Listen, I for whatever reason I saw Albert Bell in Phoenix Airport 4 years in a row, and he was in after the second time he was very pleasant, talked and stuff. He kind of probably recognized each other or whatever, and knew I was a former player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a big brother, man. And he you talk about Jake standing on business. Listen, if you were on the internet, on Twitter, talking smack to Albert Bell and you ran into him, yeah, you get the business. Jake, you could probably physically impose yourself on Jake.
You wouldn't have fingers to keep talking smack online, and maybe not even vocal cords to talk smack in person.
No. Yeah, but it was a great series. It was a great series. It's also, I like it for the Blue Jays because, I remember when they had, their run, and they kind of went up and down. They kind of
Blue Jays run kicked off Nebraska's run championships a little bit.
Yeah. And they had a squad though. Roberto Alomar Jr. and all those guys.
Joe Carter.
Yeah, and they beat Phillies, the Phillies that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember they got Roger Clemens. That was their big free agent signing. Remember he was living up in the stadium. And then they kind of went through a lull.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's good to see them back.
Shout out the Blue Jays. Congratulations to the Dodgers' first back-to-back champion in Major League Baseball in about 25 years. Will it lead to a work stoppage? I'm sure we'll be monitoring that and discussing it. If not right now, when it comes down to brass tacks for Major League Baseball. Still plenty more to get to in Nebraska football. We'll do that to lead off hour 2 of the show. Nebraska men's basketball conversation as well. That's all ahead. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School right here on The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, You'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds, snapping high around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover, calm winds below around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm with a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we go, hour 2 of Old School, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. Brought to you, Jay, by who?
The Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andermatt, 168th in Maple, up there in the O.
TheMercadoButcher.com. Fired up Thursdays, fired up Fridays.
Every type of meat, every type of cut.
And more.
Yeah, some thick pork chops in there. Good pork chop night.
Nebraska might need to thicken up against the run, Jay. It was not great It was not great. Over 200 rushing yards allowed on the night. It was with the running backs. It was the quarterbacks. It was not the wide receiver run game. Funny. But, man, you allow 337 total yards, 202 net rushing yards when you include the sacks. You take the sacks out of that, it ends up at 223 yards at 6.4 yards per carry. King Miller, 18 for 129, an average of 7.2 yards per carry. Then Maeva went 11 for 62 with 5.6 yards per carry. This, Jay, felt a little different for the run defense because you think back to the Michigan game. You think back to Minnesota. You think back to Northwestern. It really felt like Nebraska was fine. Nebraska was fine. Nebraska was fine. Bam. They had a really long one, usually resulting in a touchdown. Darius Taylor, of course, got dragged down just shy of the end zone. This was different. Matt Rule talked about how Nebraska gave up its fewest yards after contact in a while, which led him to believe that they were better at tackling. Here's the problem with that. USC was getting to the second level untouched pretty consistently on a very, very similar play call, if not the exact same play call or concept. So, yeah, good on Nebraska for probably tackling better. There weren't many, huge busts that led to those big runs, but there were consistent busts that led to, again, USC averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and you factor out sacks 6.4 yards per carry. There was not much resistance, not much adjustment, right? There's that magical word again that I have to throw out there. This was the thing that Matt Rule said wasn't happening before. It finally showed its head. Nebraska's kept getting gashed for double-digit yards at a time.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, they got going. King Miller was, looking for a guy that was a third team, or he's a starter now, but started the season third team walk-on. And I think he's a freshman. Obviously he's, made a name for himself and probably made him some money. And they got going with the counter. They got going with a little bit of, I'll call it tight zone. You can call it plunge, whatever you want. They kind of kept you off balance where they would have the tight end on one side and then he would go across the formation. So they kind of just mess with your eyes a little bit, and he would kick out the end, and then it just go right back to, 12, 13 plunge. That's essentially inside zone. Or take, or whatever you want to call it. And so they kept you off balance, and they were hitting every hole. I do remember the first counter they ran to the left side at the beginning of the game. Lincoln Riley gave King Smith the business. Said he missed the cut, and they went back to it, and it worked out like a charm. So, I think they were doing a good job. I think they were putting a lot of people in the pass, and so they did a really good job against Jaden Maeva. But then against the run, what I said was what really helped Notre Dame was they did the same thing as Nebraska. Essentially, tried to slow down. I think Nebraska played better against the pass than Notre Dame. I think obviously you look 9 of 23, 135. But what the difference is with Notre Dame is they had a couple guys that won at some really opportune times. Meaning, they split a double team, came off, tackled them before he could get going. They'd run I put up on the whiteboard Wednesday, they run the TT stunt, you wrap around your square, and then you dive back in to get him when he comes back, because the defensive end and the linebacker on the play side blow it up, and he comes right back to you. So I think Nebraska versus Notre Dame, if you look at Notre Dame and Nebraska, they just weren't as efficient as far as winning up front. You had to win, meaning do your job and win, and then something else and make a play. And that's where they were able to get their running game going. They probably got better at their run game over the bye week. I think they felt like they left some meat on the bone. When I watched the Notre Dame tape, I could almost bet that Lincoln Riley said we didn't run the ball effectively enough. And so it was a point of emphasis, especially for them to keep the game close until they felt they could get it going. And that was probably in the second half. You hit a couple explosive pass plays, and then you can go back to the run. Lincoln Riley did this and this only. He stuck to the run more than people assumed he would. He's done it more this year. They broke Michigan. They physically beat up Michigan. That's not normal, like on the offensive ball, the way they ran it. They got efficiency runs, 5, 6 to 8 yards. They got explosive runs, inside, outside zone. So, they were on display, and King Miller, was very, very, very efficient. 18 carries, 130 yards, 7 and some change. So you got to give him credit.
When you talk about do your job and then go make a play, what was the bigger issue for Nebraska? Not doing the job or not making the play?
Well, here's what I mean by winning or doing your job and making a play, right? So, really to play really good run decent defenses, I think that I go from experience. They have a massive amount of communication all game long because that literally like you're invested in it, like because when you're playing a powerful powerful offense like this, it's a big task. It's the best offense in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Those dudes behind us got a heck of a job for them, tonight. Let's make it easier on them. So you want to take it upon yourself to be really, really crisp in your run reads, be very, very communicative with your third level, because when you have a player inserting into the run game or he's not inserted into it, you want that communication to go from back to the front two levels, because you're going to have to be that much more better and tighter in your run fits and take on a little bit more of the shoulder to load. So, for instance, doing your job to make a play. So if they ran a counter, right, or a power, right, it's just a counter they're pulling from the other side and they're pulling another guy. Power is the same thing, but those are two hardest plays to defense. But they all the same thing for the linebackers. Where are you spilling it or are you containing it? But if I'm either one of them I'm doing, I got to do that and then give myself a chance to make a play or put myself in a position to make the play for somebody else. Knock off another blocker, hold ground, create a pile, whatever it needs to be done. That's what you need to do. And you got to do it all game. That's the difference is when teams really run the ball good, to do it, you got to be invested in doing the right thing all the time.
On the offensive side of the ball, then you said for USC, number one offense in the country, certainly in the discussion. We talked about the fact that they were able to do pretty much whatever they wanted to anyone all year, right? They had the run game, they had the passing game. This is also now about 2/3 of the way through year 4 for Lincoln Riley at USC. I still think that it's fair to ask some of those questions. This is really the first USC team he's had that's not been afraid to be physical at that Big Ten level. Of course, it's year 2 in the Big Ten. But Jay, do we need to give Nebraska and its offensive staff some of that same runway, right? Because didn't Nebraska, you would think, go get a guy like Dana Holgorsen to eventually build to this point? It kind of seemed like a cut the line higher, but I think this would fit in with Matt Rule in what he's saying, is that it's going to take time to develop and grow together. Because, as much as I think Husker fans wanted Dana Holgorsen to shortcut the line, I thought that, that'd be a good mix with Dylan Raiola. Doesn't seem to be maybe a perfect philosophical fit with what Matt Rule wants to do, but it's also essentially just been a calendar year since Dana Holgorsen took over. Like almost to the day, it has been a calendar year. So no, it hasn't been perfect. Yes, there have been bumps in the road. I'm just starting to have some concerns. Is Nebraska only good in the first 15 plays because Dana Holgorsen draws up really good early game script? Nebraska's players can't handle it after that. Does Dana Holgorsen lose the touch, lose the feel for the game? Some of that is absolutely unanswerable. Yeah. But I do think it's also fair to point out that for all the questions we have about Dana Holgorsen commitment to the run, play calling, whatever you're going to throw out there, it has been a calendar year, 1 year since he got to Nebraska. And it's finally here in year, 3.66 repeating, clicking consistently for Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I think I think you got to give him a little time. It takes a while to get that continuity going, between not only the players, but the coach and player and the coordinator and the staff, and, what looks right and what doesn't, and what they feel like they, and then that can change on a year-to-year basis based on who you have on your roster. And so it's a constant, moving of the goal line. But, I think, they're probably, they tell you that there was probably some missed opportunities out there, which lead to other things. I don't think it's a play calling thing. I don't think Dana gets 15 plays or whatever, they say 12 plays for the first script, and then he's like, "Oh man, I don't know what to do." That's not happening.
I'm gonna call the play that doesn't work after I saw these plays that did work. That's what I got for you guys. Have fun.
Like the players are not good. I just think that he's calling the plays, he's feeling it. He probably has a process when he wants to keep a really good play in his back pocket. I just think, once you have that instant success, which I think is the hardest thing for athletes to do in this day and age, is deal with it. Maybe they relax a little bit. Maybe they think like, okay, that was because it is at times their first drives look just relatively easy.
Well, Scott Frost had some of that going on too.
Right, but you got to keep playing. You got to expect that they're going to counterpunch, and then you got to punch after that. And then when you get a chance to not get in with that knockout blow, you got to do it. You got to do it. And the knockout blow doesn't necessarily have to be a 60-yard bomb. The knockout blow could be, all right, here we go. It's 3rd and 6. Give me the ball. I make the play. Get me the ball somehow, some way, and some way make a play. Those are the backbreakers, dude. Those are it. And once you can get there to do that, they, these bigger games would be more, more on the winning side.
In a vacuum, it's hard to officially knock out a team like USC with the explosive offense that we're talking about. But I go back to that third quarter. Again, that's the feel, right? I was just going to get there. Is that even if in a vacuum against any other team, nameless, faceless opponent, there's still plenty of time left to play. A knockout drive could have come in the form of, hey, Nebraska held USC off the board at the end of the first half. Now Nebraska gets to double up. They score, get a stop, take the knee to go to half, or run the one play, go to half, get the ball back again, go down and get points, go up, at least 17-6. You don't do it, you go 3 and out, which turns into, hey, guess what? You get another shot because Andrew Marshall makes a heck of a play, baits Mayava into that interception. You're set up in USC territory, and then that all falls apart in 4 plays. You do end up getting a first down off a couple runs from Emmett Johnson and an incompletion sandwiched around there. But you know what? After the fumble, you do hold USC to a turnover on downs. So you have the ball at midfield again. And then you miss that field goal, and USC is off to the races from there. Nebraska had 3 opportunities in the third quarter to deliver a knockout drive, and it didn't do it.
Yeah, and that's where it is. And that's just more execution. And that comes from experience and understanding what it's like and what you need to win. How you have to pull out a victory against Maryland is significantly different than USC. Now, it's all based on what USC has, but that's just the truth. How you are able to pull out a game against Oregon or whatever is different than Michigan State. There's just levels to this. And USC was ready to go home. They were giving you a chance to do it. And it was almost like they were succumbing to losing. Nothing was working right for them. You get what I'm saying? I mean,
and even when it did work, they didn't reach the end zone.
The first drive they had, they ran the ball all the way down there. First score they had, they ran the ball all the way down there, and then they went 0 for 3 throwing the ball. You're like,
thank you.
These dudes ain't trying to win. And then Nebraska started to kind of change the winds of change to their side, and they were ready to get on that plane and go home. It started to get a little colder. And the missed field goal allowed them to tie the game up, and then they started to catch a little momentum. And then once they start catching momentum, then they start churning out yards. That game was a very interesting game based on the flow. And I don't think by any means you should expect to blow USC out, but you definitely could have had really good control of it. I think also if you were able to get them down by 9 points, just 9. At a little bit later, it's lights out.
That's where you play the personality of the coach. All right, I get to chuck it around the yard right now, back in my bag for a quarterback who ended the day again 9 of 23 for 135 yards in a pick, no touchdowns. But Nebraska was just right there on the precipice, and that's Jay where Nebraska, I thought, did a good job. I mean, it's obviously on the scoring drives, right? The first touchdown drive, 14 plays, 75 yards. The second touchdown drive, 8 plays, 75 yards, a few more chunk plays in there. Even the field goal drive, 10 plays for 57 yards. Other than that, Nebraska's longest drive ended up being 6 plays. The missed field goal by Cunan, and then at the end of the game, where Nebraska gets the first down in a couple plays and then has the turnover on downs. I am not convinced. Maybe this goes to conditioning, maybe it goes to mental toughness, maybe it goes to consistency, players making plays, whatever. I'm not convinced that Nebraska wants to be a jabs team. I think Nebraska is still in that knockout blow mindset.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that, right? You think about the screen that Hunter took for a touchdown against Michigan State, maybe even against Maryland. Nebraska needed something to swing the juju, the vibes back to its sideline. It got a big-time play from a big-time player.
Yeah.
Matt Rule and the players seemed to be convinced. They had that play drawn up for Ja'Cory Barney Jr., who would have house called it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You swung and you missed. Even if you called it perfectly and 10 out of the 11 guys did their job, the quarterback didn't. So Nebraska wasn't able to, after it was knocked off balance, it's on the ropes. Nebraska wasn't able to jab its way back into the fight. I don't know if it's because they weren't willing or they weren't able. And then when Nebraska finally had a chance to swing that knockout punch, one little mistake and that's it.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Like, people fall in love with the I think I said it on the post-game show. I'll say it. I mean, I say it every week. I think when you play big-time competition, and from here on out, these are 3 big-time games moving forward. Okay, throw the record book or throw the records out. UCLA is going to give you all that you can handle. Penn State's going to be the last on senior day. They're going to give you all they can handle, and you know what Iowa's going to bring. These games are won and lost on either sustained drives or the lack of sustained drives. Because if you just think everything's equal, that both teams score at a decent rate, whatever it is, based on your talent level.
Which both teams did not score much. Only 4 scoring drives for USC, 3 for Nebraska.
If you don't score much, if you do, right? Whether you're in a back and forth game or you're in a slug it out game. The game is won and lost in who sustains drives and who doesn't. Because when you sustain drives, you're able to flip the field over. Then you're actually able to kind of jab, pot punch out of the clinch, if we're using basketball or boxing analogies, and get you an uppercut in there that's not a full uppercut, but it wears you out, wears the opponent out later in the game. So we weren't able to sustain the drives that we needed to. And then we weren't able to do the same on defense, which allowed USC to play more free under pressure and allowed them to kind of get their bearings. Here's the difference. They played the same way at Illinois as they did here. That Illinois just took advantage of that same opportunity in the middle of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and it was too much for them to come over or overcome. Now they put a little bit of lipstick on an ugly pig, USC, and scored late. So now they're getting on the plane. So
they led 32-31. Then Illinois walked them off with the field goal.
Right, but before that, because when I talked to Ed Stewart, they couldn't stop the run.
Yeah,
they couldn't stop the pass. So when you think about the game for them, it was like a lot of empty points. So they were going bang, right? Illinois was just straight back, body blow. And when you needed the strength to stop them with a 1-point lead, it was like they had nothing left. And so you got to lay the deposits down early. Actually, I was referring to the Notre Dame game. So I stand corrected. The Notre Dame game is a perfect example of it. There were some things that didn't go USC's way, but they never had control of the game. But it's a lot of empty points for them. So they kind of played the same way. We just didn't take advantage of their opportunities. And it's a learning. And this is what I know. Nick said that this is not where you come to learn. I think it's learning how to win. First of all, like loving it. I always ask guys, do you like to win more than you hate to lose? And how you answer that question, that tells me about it. Tells me about you more than anything. The difference, when I play with these guys that like Terrell and Jason Peter, we hated to lose. We talk more about the games we lost than the ones we won. To this day, what if they put some faster dudes out there when against James Brown? We talk about that. The reason why that's important, because that lets you know you're process oriented versus results based. Because I won't name any names. I remember a coach that was here asked me, would you rather get lucky and win a game, like 60 to 56, or would you just want to go play good? And I said I want to play good, because if I play good long enough, right,
it'll work out.
I will continue. I will get those wins, and then I will blow you out.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I start to level up and play consistently good, right, situational football, stringing drives together, it allows me to expand my recruiting base, and then I can get jiggy with it. Then I can take some more chances. Then I got superior athletes doing the same thing I've been doing. That's who my identity is, and you can't stop it. And so, for Nebraska, they're just learning what it's like to be in that arena. That arena is different than anything they've experienced over the last 2 or 3 years. Colorado was a emotion based. Okay. I could say borderline motivation. That motivation didn't go away until halftime. And in Colorado couldn't overcome that.
Well, Nebraska also maximized all its opportunities
right.
in that game. I mean, 28 points in the first half is not something you see from Nebraska against a power conference opponent. That was an okay Colorado team, but Nebraska was so good. They're so overwhelmingly good in that first half. They're up 28-0. It doesn't matter if it's motivation versus discipline in the second half. The way that defense was manhandling Colorado, kind of broken, disjointed game. But the next step then for Nebraska is to take 28-0
to 42-0 or 41. But then you look at process, right? So Colorado found something that second half, and then end up being a pretty good season after that. So you got to understand there's just different levels to it, and that arena with UCLA is different when it's like it. Okay, you remember when the Warriors played Cleveland and Steph Curry was like 0 for 10, and then he couldn't. He was hard. He couldn't do anything, and then he hit that 1-3.
You forget him one time,
right? Like was it Deladova? He's like he was the Curry stopper, and then that soon as he didn't go over that last screen,
night,
hand down, man down, mama, and that's
the dagger.
That's the dagger in the heart, right? And so that was a discipline game. This is right here was the discipline, the pain of the regret and the pain of discipline. That's what you need more than anything to win these big games. Because when you play like opponents, so right now Nebraska, I would call a like opponent for them is, let's say let's go 18 to 20 on down to where they are as a ranking. You know what I'm saying? In the nation, right? Let's just do 20 because you got to think if they have a 12-team playoff, they just 8 could, something could happen. So 20 on down, most likely, in my opinion, 18 to where Nebraska's at. You're not rolling out there with a superiorly talented team that's, against an under-talented team. You're just right around each other. You probably have some things that are better than them. They might have some things that they feel like they do better than you. Now you got to go and make the simple plays in the discipline in the situational football. You got to cash in. And right when they let up, or right when you got to impose your will, you got to do it.
Nebraska did not. They had the moment. I'm going to get to this from.
They'll get there.
They got to get there. They're working on it.
Well, the best thing is.
What's the best thing?
Here's the best thing about this week. You ain't got no choice. That's right? Right? Because you have no choice. You have no choice. You have no choice to be led by each other and from within. This is not saying don't listen to the coaches. But, okay, here's what. You could sometimes, I don't know this. I could, you could sometimes depend on like having Dylan back there, right? Because he can do things maybe with his arm, just because he's been in the same offense and running it for 2 years. Okay, well now I got to be a little bit more on point. That's why you have no choice. So this will hopefully bring the best out of everybody, because they're going to want to get, if you're about the team, and I'm sure they are or whatever, you will do whatever humanly possible for these next 3 games like no other. And I'm going to say this before somebody texts in and say, well, they weren't doing it before. No, there's situations that bring it out. Now, they probably should be doing it to the maximum, but what I'm saying is,
but for those who aren't, if it's not
those
happening,
who aren't, and those who are, then you say, I gotta be a little bit better. It's the difference of, okay, I've been grading out at 88% every year or every week. Just say that's just your average. Okay, I gotta be up 92. I got to find a way to be almost perfect.
That's 2 or 3 snaps.
2 or 3 snaps, 2 or 3 steps better, and all that. Make a play here and there. And it is what it is.
I do want to get to Nebraska basketball in the next segment.
All right,
they opened up with the University of West Georgia. Let's get to this from Mud Dog, though. Says, I've always been a run the ball guy, so take this with a grain of salt. Nebraska had the ball 1st and 10, just outside the 20, up 14-6. Instead of pounding the rock with Emmett Johnson, Nebraska drops back to pass sack, fumble, broken leg, game-changing play, potentially season-altering play. I know I'm cherry-picking, but to me, that's the football gods of old sending a message, run the ball. Again, easy to second guess in retrospect, but man, there are so many playmakers out there. And I do think that, yes, Nebraska could have found a way to run the ball, hand it off to Emmett Johnson maybe one more time. But Jay, even on those drives that Nebraska scored on, the 11 play or 14 play 75-yard drive and the 8 play 75-yard drive, Nebraska wasn't exactly on schedule the whole time.
Yeah.
Nebraska was behind the sticks and had some, 3rd and medium plus conversions, which is important to keep in mind because, yes, Emmett Johnson was having success, but you need everyone, right? You weren't just going to ride Emmett Johnson all the way. And here's the other part. It was max protect. You didn't have that many guys out on routes.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of traffic from Nebraska people around the line of scrimmage and in the backfield, which is where, in the heat of the moment, if you don't have many options in your Dylan Raiola, just throw it away. You're not going to be able to extend the play with that much traffic around you and only 2, maybe 3 options out to pass. It's the hesitation that got him hurt, is what it was. If he makes the decision, throws it away, odds are good he lives to fight another play. I don't hate Nebraska taking that shot, especially if the run game is working so well. You feel like, okay, we took our shot on, 1st and 10. We're at the 23. We can get 2 first downs before we score. Dane Key had a great catch in the first half, and Isaiah Hunter's a guy you want to get going. I don't remember who the receivers were on that pattern specifically. But if you feel like you're running the ball, these people are in the camp of, okay, so keep running it. But you also have other options. And if you think you're that confident in your ability to run the ball, you're okay with being in 2nd and 10 because you feel like you can get back on schedule to 3rd and manageable on the next snap.
Yeah, it's tough. Again, Dylan's a great talented quarterback. He's a good, great kid. But people forget he's still inexperienced. Whether he likes to hear it or not, he is. I mean, it is. He only played, 12.
He did get smacked against UCLA last year, but did come back to start the next game.
But you've only played, started a season and a half, and I'm not going to count the 2 high school games that you played this year. So, he's still he's learning what those things. These is valuable, and I think that him getting hurt like that is just a freak injury. But you know what, he'll come back better from it. It's all he's going to be taking he's going to go back and scour through each game.
Mm-hmm.
And, he does that, he'll be even better next year. So, but before that, we got 3 games. But before that, we got a break. It's bad. I guess I'm going to be
basketball season.
I want to see who's going to dunk on somebody.
I don't know if Nebraska has much dunkability, but we'll see tonight. Nebraska, West Georgia. Let's talk through Nebraska's non-con next on Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery and the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we are. It is Old School. Quick break, and we are back. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. This segment brought to you by the great people at Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Check them out, heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. All right, Jay, you've seen a couple exhibition games from Nebraska. We didn't really get a chance to talk about them. Huskers beat BYU. Huskers also beat Midland, 90 points against the Cougs, 91 points against the Warriors. Before we get into just looking at Nebraska's non-conference schedule, with the season tipping off tonight, what did you like? What do you want to see more of from Nebraska as the games start to count?
Well, I like their ability to shoot the ball. I think they have legit. I just thought 5 guys that probably can shoot it. I'll throw Rink in there. You got to throw Frager in there. I mean, he hit 6 threes. I think they have more options when they need to, get a big 3, or guys that can get, hit open 3. So I think they have ability to keep themselves in the games and shoot themselves back in the games, and then obviously blow teams out. Now, when you start to play better competition, that we'll see. I like their flow of offense. I think this is where Fred can be a mad scientist and draw up some stuff and do different things, you know what I mean, and spread the floor. I think they're going to have to be really good on the defensive boards, and that's a team thing. team rebounding for this team.
Yeah.
And then I think offensively, I'm waiting for them to find somebody that can be just that explosive on the break finisher.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Because I think with the amount of shooters that they have, and they got, somebody that can get downhill, get to the free throw line, 2-on-1 fast break, or, be the one that can, kind of be on a solo fast break against two guys and get a bucket. I think that opens up everything else for, the rest of the team. And I don't know if it's Lawrence, I don't know if it's Blue, you got to have somebody that's able to do that. But overall, I like the team. I think they got a little bit more size than people give them credit for. Some bigger dudes, and then they can shoot it. And I think they have an ability to play different lineups.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see, or wanting to see. I mean, obviously Fred's not going to listen to me. There's no reason he should. Is in the, like, when they really need to turn up the heat defensively, and they come with, like, say if they have a defensive lineup for like a 4 possession time, that's usually about a minute. Get Hoiberg and Jacobson and guys that'll get kind of turn the tide a little bit. Be interesting to see when he tries to unleash that, because I think it could be an equalizer.
No, I completely agree. Strick and I talked about this a lot during On the Block, was Nebraska missing so many easy opportunities in transition. And I think having a clear understanding of, we don't necessarily have that guy off the bounce right now to create for us. We want to take some pressure off of Rank. Some of that's in the half court, some of it's in the full court.
Yeah.
And it starts with being active on defense. If you get a blocked shot, don't just volleyball spike it out of bounds. Can you direct the shot to a teammate, right? Or, can you get deflections and steals and get easy runouts that way? I think it's at least on the table for this team. I think the shooting will translate. It'll be hot, it'll be cold, but I think at the end of the year, Nebraska,
it'll even out.
It'll even out to a pretty reasonable level. Jay, I did want to take a look at Nebraska's non-con just as we started off here. Not necessarily an overwhelming slate. Just looking at the KenPom rankings of the teams Nebraska is going to play. West Georgia, Florida International, Maryland Eastern Shore, 318, 198, and 361 out of 365. Then you get Oklahoma and New Mexico, 58 and 97, but those are two completely new teams. Either Kansas State or Mississippi State in the second game of your MTE. That's either number 61 or 26 team. Then you have Winthrop, who's 150, South Carolina Upstate at 336, Creighton at number 41, North Dakota at 314, and New Hampshire with 355. This is really, I would say, the 4th straight year Nebraska's followed this kind of scheduling format, where you have your cupcake games, your filler games, right? Your West Georgia, FIU, Eastern Shore, USC Upstate, North Dakota, New Hampshire, right? Okay, so there's your filler. But I do like that Nebraska, for the most part, has gone out and tried to find a multi-team event. This year it's down in Kansas City with the opening game against New Mexico, and then one of the either Kansas or Mississippi states of the world. You got to Hawaii last year. In the tournament year, Nebraska hosted its own multi-team event. And then the year before that, when they got to 500, they went and played that one down in Orlando.
Right.
Not the toughest slate, but some chances for quality wins. But really what I think is going to be interesting to monitor for Nebraska is who's the non-filler, non-power conference team. You look a handful of years ago, they didn't really have one. But then the year they went to the tournament, you get Duquesne, who is pretty decent. You also get Cal State Fullerton, who went 20 and 13 the year before. You get them to play a game in Lincoln, and you win that one. Last year, you get a rebuilt kind of Murray State team, a dangerous North Florida team that ended up pretty bad, but had some quality wins to start the year, and a much improved Oregon State team. And this year, a game that I'm really interested in is the Winthrop game. That's a team that finished second in the Big South last year, averaging like 85 points per game. Where Nebraska was when Fred Hoiberg took over the state of that roster, this would have been a schedule with some landmines. But Nebraska's gone 10-1 in back-to-back years in the non-conference. And I think they're setting up the non-conference schedule like most teams are now in college basketball, gaming the net, gaming the rankings. There are a lot of those quad 4 opportunities that the only way you get really any quote-unquote bonus points is by looking good in them.
Yeah.
Can you win by 30? Can you win by 40? Maybe even push it to 50. Nebraska has a lot of those games on the schedule, but then you get neutral site game against Oklahoma. You get neutral site games against New Mexico and Kansas State. All those teams ought to be in the top 60 of the net, which means you're borderline quad 1, probably quad 2, and that's fine. You get a probable quad 1 game against Creighton, but that's at home. And then you take a mid-major, semi player. You schedule it a year in advance. We'll hope they're pretty good. Winthrop is that team this year, kind of turned over the roster, but I think it's a good step in the right direction for the program. The non-conference wasn't much. You had the Big Ten ACC Challenge, the Gavitt games with the Big Ten and the Big East. Those are both defunct. Nebraska, since then, has gone out of its way to get in MTEs and find some, decent but not overly scary mid-majors that you won't get a bunch of credit for beating, but at least someone can look at your schedule and said, oh, they actually did try to play a decent mid-major and not only cupcake games.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you go along in college basketball, things change just like football. And in this non-con, it serves two things. Like you said, you want to game the net. The need for those big matchups, especially for where we're at, right? I don't think it really affects when Duke played Kentucky or that doesn't.
Yeah.
They're in the special club, but also I think for this team in particular, because I think this rink mask is like a recruit because he was out last year. This is a pretty much a completely new team without that known. Well, rink is okay.
But other than that,
but you had Gary, but so they got a mesh here, right? And so for this non-con, I think it's great for this year for this team because they got a mesh. They have some seniors that they need to get back, and you got to get Jamarcus Lawrence back to playing before like he was before he left. You got to get a better or more consistency out of Connor Essegian, right? All year, not the and it wasn't all based on him, but we got to be more consistent with it, get more consistent with him. And then you had all those guys that came in through the portal, whether it's Sanford, Will Cooper and obviously Braden Frager I consider him, even though he's been in the program, he's a new player because he's going to play.
Yeah.
So and then you just got you got Hoiberg and Jacobson. So you got all these guys and you got to find a way to get it going. And this is a great schedule for them to do so. But then right when they get done with it, bam, you playing them dudes up there that wear vests. Great. Straight up. I mean, so
sweater vest, bow tie wearing.
And they have a little bit of transition for them, right? Because Kalkbrenner's gone, and he was an equalizer, even though Nebraska's done a pretty decent job against him. But you think Creighton's got some more coming back, or a lot coming back, and a lot of players coming back. So you got to make sure that you got to do well. And you're right about that Winthrop. I was going to wait and see if we're going to talk about that. Winthrop over the last few years, one of my friend's son played there. So they like to get it up and down, right? So a team that can score is always dangerous. And they're not going to back down. And the thing about them is they're always going to be in a competitive league and they're going to come up here and try to do something. So starts tonight.
It does start
7
tonight.
o'clock.
Nebraska, West Georgia. Jay, give me your prediction for the Nebraska men's basketball starting lineup tonight.
Oh, well, dang. Well, rank mass. Besides, I don't know. What's the dude that came from Iowa?
Price Sanford.
Jamarcus Lawrence. I think he's gonna start Braden Frager tonight.
Hello.
And Connor.
Whoa.
Connor Essegian coming off the bench.
Yeah. Then does it come down to Sam or Kale?
You're gonna start Kale.
Okay, so Jamarcus, Kale, Price, Frager, and Mass.
Assuming, yeah. You're gonna reward him for getting 6 threes.
I was
you still hot, Jack.
I was having this conversation with a friend of the program. Their most recent practice lineup, which I will not necessarily divulge, but the gist of the conversation was we know Nebraska's really liked to start two bigs the last couple of years, right? You go back to 22-23, they did it a little bit, but especially 23-24, and they got rolling with Alec and Mast. And then last year, a little bit less success.
No. Burke ain't going to start.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about Burke.
They like him and his impact defensively. In the conversation with this friend, that's what they like. They talk about it. The analytics, the numbers, they're great with Berkay on the floor defensively. But the person I was talking to said part of the reason Berkay wasn't in the practice starting lineup was because he's going to be the backup 5 behind Rink, and you really want to play those two guys together. I think you can still get away with it. If you want to start those two guys, maintain your identity, Bearcay's probably best as the second big, more so than the primary big. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nebraska go DeMarcus Lawrence, either Sam Hoiberg or Cale Jacobson, Price Sanford, Bearcay, and Rink to start. And then the only reason I think that they can get away with starting both Bearcay and Rink and having Bearcay be the backup 5 in a game like this is for two reasons. Number one, against BYU, Rink Mast's first action against another team in his return to the floor, he played the first 9 or 10 minutes consecutively. Media timeouts in there and whatnot. But I think Rink does have the stamina, especially against a team that's not all that big in West Georgia. Nebraska might lean into the size advantage that it's really gone for. You take Bearcay out just after the U16. You take Rink out sometime toward the end of that, once Bearcay's had a couple minutes to get a break, as long as he's healthy. I know he's had the sleeve and been working on some stuff behind the bench for times. And then you can stagger their minutes a little bit toward the end of the first half, or you can find ways to play them together. But it really works. It really clicks to stagger Rink and Bearcay if you trust Jared Garcia's back to hold up in his leg, and he's able to play minutes at the 4, kind of like Juwan Gary did when Nebraska went a little smaller last year. Or if you can trust Cale Jacobson against not a huge team to hold up pretty well defensively at the 4 occasionally, or there your Braden Frager minutes. Is that a guy you can trust to be a pest at the 4 so you can play around one big instead of 2?
Yeah, you got plenty of options, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing Fred's going to have to decide when who you start, when you get into the lineup. Also define the roles. Bearcay, obviously can start, but if he could be, that stretch 4 or 5 and not try to do too much, right? Kind of really teach him how to be, like Walker was. But obviously, I think Walker is probably a better athlete, like Derek Walker was. But I think he could be as effective like that if he plays that role in small spurts. And so then, what's up with my man from Woodbury, Minnesota, man, Kendall Blue? He feeling blue?
Well, let's talk about that when we get back. We got a short one. We'll finish out the Nebraska ball conversation. Then,
a message to him.
Then I'm hitting the road. I'm hitting the road to get to Hoop. So we'll have a short one.
I'm gonna send you a text. I'm gonna send you a message.
I will deliver it.
Yeah, you from the second best city in Minnesota.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center?
Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. Austin Norman here, Jay Foreman there, Harrison Arns in for me, coming up here in just a couple minutes. This segment brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Season starting here in just a couple months in January. You can go to lovb.com to learn more. Jay asked about your boy Kendall Blue, the pride of Woodbury, Minnesota, the St. Thomas, Minnesota transfer product. I had one question for Kendall Blue over the 2 non-conference games. Where are you? What are you doing? He held down the floor against BYU. Wasn't shocked by that. Kendall Blue is not an overwhelming athlete by any means. First taste of, big boy basketball in any, real stretch, but didn't make an impact against BYU. Then he was the 11th guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Against Midland. And maybe some of that's, Midland, maybe that was by design because he did end up, I think, leading Nebraska with 5 assists in that game, almost primarily with the second unit. But man, this is a guy in Kendall Blue that is not like Bryce Williams in that he can be a 2-year transfer guy. It's this year and it's over for Kendall Blue in college. That's not a guy that can afford to sit back and not make the most of this opportunity. And I think he brings a skill set with his ability to shoot the ball, handle it a little bit, defend positionally, that Nebraska could really use an infusion from. And he was basically nowhere to be found for the first, what would that be, 60 minutes of exhibition action.
Yeah, I think sometimes in those cases, it's transitioning to a new school. It's obviously definitely a level up as far as just the size of guys. I mean, I'm sure he's played enough competitive basketball, obviously, where he was at, but then also in the summer and, training, there's a ton of great basketball pro-ams and, I'm sure he's involved in that, get that run. But more importantly, I think when you built a team or get a lot of portal guys like Fred did, that all kind of are around the same size and, at least I thought Kendall, is more mid-range and shoot the 3, can maybe get downhill. It's a lot more depth than he's used to of good players. And so you got to find your role. The biggest advice I would have gave him or any player coming into a program like Nebraska in any sport, but in particular basketball, just because Rick Mass is the guy. You got some guys that are known characters around here. I would say find your role. Well, hopefully they define your initial role, come in, knock that out of the park. As you get more playing time, then it's time to shake a leg. So I think he's learning that on the ropes. I think eventually he'll get going, though.
I tend to agree. I think it's a big deal if he gets going for Nebraska. I think he holds the key to unlocking Nebraska's full potential.
And I think Fred's always done a good job of not understanding that too, and he's going to do what he needs to do because this isn't like you said, take a year off and let me develop you. It's like the time is now. So
Yeah.
He'll get it going.
That's one of the guys I have highlighted to
Yeah.
watch tonight. Kendall Blue, what kind of impact does he make? I'm sure I'll be on a little bit later to talk about it for some form of Nebraska men's basketball postgame, tipping off here in just over 2 hours now against the University of West Georgia. I'm out of here. Harrison's in for me. Don't go anywhere. Jay Foreman talking a lot more Husker football and more next on Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock. Perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has zero hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're Old School, 1040 Oak Street, coming at you live. Jay Foreman, my man Harrison, is sitting in for Austin as he makes his way down to PBA to check out the Huskers tonight, tipping off at 7 p.m. I think they're on Big Ten Plus Network. We got Monday Night Football on here, the ticket, so you got plenty of options, whether you like football or basketball. We got it going on. My man Harrison, and I just saw him yesterday, so it's always all good in the hood. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop. 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th in Old Cheney / Andermatt, and 168th in Maple up there in the O. Harrison, text line's been blowing up. I mean, obviously, I'm sure everybody's getting down to.
It's been a spicy weekend.
It has.
I'll tell you what, just going through Twitter, man.
Hey, your boy Jake. Hey, I'm gonna get. Hey,
he's getting over the coals and fire.
Hey, they still giving him work.
Well, hey, you know what? Jake keeps yapping back. Hey,
I gotta give it to him. He feels strong. If there's I'm gonna tell you this.
He's gonna defend what he says.
This is about Jake. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth about Jake. I remember first time meeting Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I was working out at this place that was called Prairie Life, and I was like, man, who is this dorky white dude keeps staring at me, man? I swear to God, I want to just like. Then he came up and introduced himself, and he was cool. But then I found out he's a Dolphins fan, and he's very passionate. But I will tell you something else. Jake is passionate. He might come out the wrong way about Husker sports. But I give him also credit. He got a little bit more bigger cojones than I thought he had. He stood on his business. And you know what he was saying is probably what everybody was thinking, or just being frustrated. He probably just got one over the edge and said it's a waste of time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you catch it in the feelings and you got Twitter, I mean, yeah.
I've done
you put out your emotions out there.
I've done that. I haven't done it with Nebraska football. I've done it when I've been coaching basketball. I was like, man, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
I still came back and coached.
Yeah, exactly.
The same way and coached even harder. So that, Jake's not going to lose his passion for any Nebraska sports.
Well, he hasn't missed a day here at the ticket either. So I'll give him that.
And so, but it was also good entertainment for it because it was Jake. Because if it was anybody else, I would have felt sorry for it. But it was Jake.
Well, yeah, I just know Jake too. I was thinking about like him at home, just
hey,
vein across the forehead,
walking around,
standing on business, not backing
contemplating whether he should reply, apologize, and then Jake just having the come to Jesus like, oh, no, I'm standing on it.
Yep.
And then he did. So, anyways, it was that was a part of the weekend, and obviously Harrison, Huskers weren't able to pull it off, but it's onward and upward. They still have a chance. Obviously a tremendous, obviously a huge outside chance for them to make the college football playoffs. But, if they're able to put one foot in front of each other and get this win here, there's chances you can end your season up really well. But, biggest thing they got to focus on is winning tomorrow, which is when they practice and so forth and so on. So,
all winnable games though, it's
all winnable games.
It's not too much to ask.
It's going to be, it's tougher than maybe initially that you thought. That's a learning lesson. You take everybody that they're going to play their best football, and now you know that you got a new quarterback, and you got to rally behind them. You got to play better, and so we're going to see what they're made of. And so, let's go to a little bit of Matt Rule's comments on TJ Lateef and getting him.
Yeah, what's the biggest thing to address here with getting TJ Lateef ready? And here's Matt Rule on that.
I think making sure that we put together a plan that he's comfortable with everything that he needs to do. As I said, I think guys are going to have to do a great job of being strong around him. But I mean, I mean, even in the game, like he came out with a check on down in the red zone, and he checked it. He saw 0. He checked it to a tunnel screen. Jacory's wide open, is going to walk, and he just dropped the snap. And so he's mentally though at a really, really high level. And so he just needs reps. When you're the backup quarterback, you're getting reps, but not as many. And so now he needs reps. Jalen needs reps, and anybody else we use at quarterback will need reps this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more he plays, the more he gets comfortable, the better he'll play. He's still a true freshman. He hadn't really played all year. I know he played those 2 games against Akron and Houston Christian, but this is obviously it's a bigger step. Now, I will say this. I think maybe this is probably I guess you never want to have a promotion by somebody getting hurt, but now he's going to play. For him, I think it couldn't work out any better. Okay, you're going to practice all week.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to necessarily worry looking over your shoulder. Am I only practicing and Dylan plays? They're going to work diligently to get the best playbook for you. So then you should feel that there's an ease, because then your work week is obviously a lot harder. And Dylan will be there to assist you too. So you'll be able to be up to speed. But also, I think the fact that he gets to go on the road to play in UCLA and not here. Now, normally you say you want to play at home. But I think for him, being able to go on the road, yes, he's going to have family and friends there. But when you say you need to rally around somebody, and now you're going on the road, you can batten down the hatches, and then you can be hyper focused. And he's going to be playing in familiar territory.
Mm-hmm.
And UCLA isn't a hard place to play. It's actually more of a controlled environment. You get what I'm saying? The fans aren't really raucous. They aren't really like aggressive. It's not like he's going to play on the road to Colorado first.
Yeah, no. Even when they won, I think it was like 4 straight,
right.
3 straight. It's even
30,000.
Yeah,
right. That's a spring game here.
Yeah.
So for him, I think it could work out really well. I think he has a good connection. Here's one thing about the backup quarterback. From my experience of watching guys in the NFL, and we didn't pass much when I was here at Nebraska, is that they have to have a connection with everybody as far as receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that is because, they probably get you in different reps and just kind of during training camp, you're just getting routes on air and all that. So you're working with everybody. And then a lot of times you're coming off and getting, some with the ones on later in the week, and you're working on a lot of stuff with the guys that are your slot receiver, your Carter Nelsons, all them. So look for them, really to be, have a good connection with them. So he's got to go out there and sling it.
Yeah, on the bright side, I thought he looked good, as you can expect him to.
Yeah.
In a night game going against USC in a moment where it really matters. Yeah, outside of the fumble, which I don't think that was really nerves as much as it was just trying to work off the rust there and poor fundamentals. But
yeah,
a week where he can lock that stuff in there and really put that pressure on himself, I think he'll respond well.
I think for him, like I've been in the position where I went from like just running down on special teams to starting,
mm-hmm.
and I got in the game late in the previous game. The biggest thing that I could say is just, just take care of everything you need to pre-snap, and then just let your God-given talent go from there.
Well, and you got Evan Johnson too.
Yeah,
I mean, you got a run game you can lean on, which is huge.
Yeah, and the offensive line blocked well in the run game. They're probably looking to get a little bit of get back against UCLA from last year. They match up well against them as far as their individual and collective matchups.
Our defense, honestly, playing pretty well outside of getting gashed in the run. But I mean, you held the number one scoring offense to 24 points.
You talking about? Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all things
21-17. Yeah.
Excuse me, 21-17. All things considered, I mean, you held them to way less than their standard is. Even on the road, that's way less than what their standard is.
Yeah. So there's
some positives.
There's a lot. I think sometimes when you lose, that you only focus on the negatives. There's a lot more positives going on. And they're playing, but they're getting close to learning how to win those big games.
Well, and I think that's why it's huge, because TJ Lateef easier to look at all the negatives, but to your point, some of those positives that come out of that USC game, the defense, especially that secondary, and then the run game, really these past few weeks, really starting to catch its rhythm. That's huge for him to be able to lean on in the road, even if it's, a small crowd, take some of the pressure off.
Yeah. More importantly, it's Emmett Johnson is the 4th running back in Nebraska history over the last 30 years to run over, pass or go over 1,000. And so
Which
I think,
is crazy.
So the only other 2 was Divine Azigbo, Emmett, and then was that Rex and Amir, right?
Yeah, because Roy Halou never got there.
Right.
So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I could tell you this, and we'll get one more thing with Matt Rule a little bit later in the segment. Is that I remember there was a time last year where people questioned whether he could answer the bell. I kept saying the dude is tough, man. He can play. He can play.
Well, we saw it last year.
But I'm saying last year people were saying they didn't think he was big enough, couldn't handle the Big Ten. It's based on his size. Well, he's proven them wrong. So you want to give him a lot of credit and his props for it because he took advantage of his opportunity. Now
he kind of reminds me of Monangai a little bit, and we know we saw those guys match up last year.
Yeah.
But very similar. I think just
very similar.
Hurt you in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, Monangai's a little bit thicker, but yes, the quickness in and out of the hole. Emmett does a really good job of like not taking a lot of direct hits, so he doesn't get worn out.
Yeah, well, he does a good job just really pushing on those pockets and then cutting back.
He's got really good vision. He's got good patience. And he has a canny knack for being able to, break tackles and get run after contact or yards after contact. So, that's a good thing for, like you said, TJ Lateef to have. It's a good thing for Dana to have. Say, okay, I know when it comes down to it, I can lean on my run game. And the offensive line is starting to run the ball effectively. Now to the offensive line, you got Teddy's out, Gunnar Gatula's out. I'm sure Elijah Pritchett will answer the bell. Now you gotta get Turner in there, and you got some other guys. And so the depth in the recruiting is going to be, or the pass recruiting is going to be on display. But the thing is, I think what they'll do is that as long as you're in there, you have to play up to the certain standard, and then once they do that, they'll be able to go out there and compete. So I think this is a really good snapshot to see where we are, like holistically, and I mean that by. This is going to take the players. It's going to take everything they got. Now, I think the one thing that I'm banking on is they're going to show up there with their mind right and be a little angry, or not angry, but extremely like disciplined and motivated.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go out there and try to, do their thing. And in some ways, look, UCLA came in here. I wouldn't say they embarrassed you, but they caught you by surprise. Right? They kind of leapfrogged off of that victory, and they beat Iowa and all that stuff, right? So just that alone, gonna have you focused and disciplined and motivated. And then you got a tremendous opportunity to prove people wrong. People think the season's over. You're gonna end up 6-6. It's all for nothing. It's a huge letdown with the easy schedule. Season ain't over. So if you need the bulletin board material and you want to be internally motivated to get you to be that much more disciplined, that much better of a teammate, you got it right here.
Well, I mean, that's what it's going to take. Because a lot of that pressure it's not gone, but it's at a lesser stance where, I mean, the college football playoffs, everything was kind of building up.
But did you think that was realistic?
The fans, I don't know. Yeah, I think if you manage to pull that one off and then say whatever Iowa is, I think they're solid. If you beat Iowa, I actually do think you kick the door in. But you have to stay undefeated through that stretch.
Yeah,
and that's
I
the
think
part
it was
where,
a realistic shot. I always felt like this was a maturity year. I think some teams that you normally didn't think was going to be good, I think they leveled up. It was a tremendous opportunity. It still is. They handled their business. It's still a very, very successful season. And it's definitely trending up.
Yeah, up to this point, it's
definitely trending up. Now they got to finish it. So here's where they're at realistically. The first year was kind of look and see, and they pieced it together, right? Jeff Sims didn't work out. Okay, then you immediately went and addressed that, and you got Dylan. And so then you're able to get something tangible, or tangible success, and you made a bowl game, and you won a bowl game,
Mhm.
right? Now there's still a lot of meat left on the bone, but you can say, okay, they're heading in the right direction. You had a great offseason. Everybody, you're the it team.
Well, you fix the special teams, and I know
Yeah.
USC. You could say it's neutral, but
No, you fix this.
How long has the special teams have been broken?
The special teams,
it's fixed.
Are special,
Yeah,
or a plus, not just a even. They're a plus.
Mhm.
And it's a credit to
turnover margin
It's a
is-
credit to USC, or it's a credit to you that USC put 2 weeks of work in just to break even with you.
Mhm.
So that lets you know how far you came. But so the program is on the right trajectory, right? You know that right now.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, when you look at the program, all the whatever you want to call the deficiencies or things that need to get.
Yeah, I can want more, but the line is pointing up. Even if you think it's gradual, it's going
Nick
up.
Saban went recruiting 7 a.m. after the national championship game. That lets you know the roster wasn't perfect. okay, trust me. So it's the trajectory right now. If you're talking to the team, we're here.
Mhm.
This is where we're going. We're taking off. We're already past that 10,000 feet mark, right? And so now what we have to do is get through the clouds, right? The biggest thing you need to say, we need to finish. We need to finish. What we didn't do sometimes in these games is finish or take advantage of the opportunity. This is when we have to finish. So you got to finish you got to finish every day, meeting, rep, game. You take that mindset, then you finish the season, then you can recalibrate it. And he's like, you know what, we actually, handled our business. Because if you can't go out there and think that you're gonna you don't have anything else that you can add to it. You got to add more. You got to finish this season.
Yeah, it's I'm curious to see. I'm just looking at some of the text too. We got a lot of people excited on TJ Lateef.
Well, listen,
And,
I said this, man. Listen,
rightfully so. I mean, he's
nobody.
he's
The most
QB.
popular guy.
We're rooting for him to
The
do
most popular guy
is backup
is
QB.
always a backup quarterback.
People love Fife back in the day.
Yeah,
and Taylor Martinez in the turf toe incident.
So look, it's a tremendous opportunity. It's excited to see what he can do. I'm sure he's excited for the opportunity. If he goes out and plays well and earns some other interest, it's great for him and it's great for Nebraska.
Yep.
And because we have our starter in Dylan, and he's got to make it the best decision. So there's a lot of things. He's not going to go out there and just go through the motions. And you know what? I would tell this to the other guys on the team, especially if you have eligibility left and you're wanting to stay at Nebraska. You're on a job interview too. The biggest, the best, the harshest evaluations come after a break in the season. So for instance, in Buffalo, we always were in the playoff hunt. So in Houston, we were trending this way.
Mm-hmm.
But then we lost, and then we were literally had we were mathematically still possible to make the playoffs, but it was 2.8%. We weren't making the playoffs.
You stunk it up at the end of the year.
Well, no, we lost the game, and that kind of took us from 18%.
I see.
You know what I mean? We didn't control our own destiny. We could have won out, and we needed 5 different teams to lose and all this type of stuff. Well, then eventually we made it easy. We lost it next week, but
Make it 0.
Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, so we said, don't worry, we got this handled. We got the U-Hauls ready too. But my point is I remember talking to Bobby Greer and some of the guys, and I knew Bobby before, and he was talking about this is when coaches and staff evaluate you the harshest. Has it changed your practice habits? Has it changed your work habits? Are you, 1 foot looking out the door, or are you still all in and going to finish? Because even though we're finishing out this year,
mm-hmm.
you're still building for the future. You're still laying the foundation. You know what I'm saying?
No, if you're an employer, I mean, a good question that they probably asked the last employer that whatever you put on the resume, it was how were they once they put in that 2-week notice?
Yeah.
Because that's when the real worker comes out. It's
that's the same thing.
Now you don't, you really don't have to do it, and you'll still get your paycheck.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so for these guys, there's a lot on the line, a lot to play for. So I expect their same effort. In some ways, I expect it better.
Especially how many coaches got fired.
Expect them to win.
You know how many players are going to be in that portal too this year?
Harrison,
it's going to be
the same amount of people as last year. There's only so many people on a team. There's only so many people that can go in the portal. The fact is, the portal
gets bigger. I don't know if there's not so many people.
Well, because you got the
balloons.
It's the leftovers in there.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying this year there's going to be a lot of leftovers because of all these coaches getting fired and all these players going to be following, moving.
It's going to be an initial bump, but then also
it'll be like every
now
year.
they have rev sharing. I think you can get them in the contracts, and so guys will stay put.
That
retention, the teams that here's what's going to be funny before we go to break. You're going to start talking about guys that are able to have higher retention rates versus portal gets.
Continuity guys.
Say I'm the head coach at whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, he's a really great coach. He has a handle on his program because he retained 70% of his roster. So then now they can because I'll still get guys from the portal, but I'm keeping my main dudes, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well then, you can project 2025 to 26. That's going to be the utmost important.
The biggest challenge, especially if you're a middling program.
This is the worst place to be.
That's
why we have to finish.
Yeah.
That's why we have to finish. That's why we have to demand more. That's why we got to, coach better and do all that stuff, because we got to get past that 7-5. Because when you're 8-4 and 9-3, for a fact you're somewhat closer. You're going to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we got to get there.
We got 3 games.
It's like Princess Leia when she did that thing to Luke Skywalker. We need you.
I'll be honest, I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Oh no, just see that. You know what? In that case, we are going to break. I can't believe this, Harrison. You were. You know what? You were up here.
This is the one. You're that big on Star Wars,
and then now you just drop down. You're not below Nick.
Well,
you're still up there.
All right.
Jay Foreman, Harrison. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition. Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back, Jay Foreman, Harrison. It's official. We've put the USC lost to bed. Nothing you can do about it anyways. So it's onward, upward, out there to Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good weather out there, I'm sure. So Nebraska's got to go out there and bring the funk. But, Harrison, I wanted to get your opinion on the new poll that I sent you on the top 25. So we're going to go through it. You guys feel free to text in and what your thoughts are. I'll say Ohio State's number one. You would have never thought these next two teams would be number 2 and 3, followed by Indiana number 2, Texas A&M number 3. Mm-hmm. I'll even add a fourth team and the number 5 that you wouldn't think that they would be where they're at right now. Alabama number 4 after that Florida State game.
Florida State just can't get a hold on a
Florida
season
State,
to save their lives.
Hey, Florida State is they can't get right. They just can't get
they
right.
Go undefeated. They missed the playoffs. I kind of feel for them. That is a crazy. You go undefeated miss the playoffs
because the quarterback gets
embarrassed by was it Georgia? Yep. All right. That's all right. Go into the next year.
Remember, nobody played.
Yep. Then you lose to Georgia Tech and Dublin, followed by just a horrible season. Then you start this year by beating Bama.
You're
supposed to be.
You were back.
And
now you're not. Now you're right back to not. Now they're contemplating whether they can fire you guys right now or next year. Georgia's number 5. Oregon's number 6. Ole Miss number 7. And here's where it gets really crazy. BYU number 8. Texas Tech number 9. Notre Dame number 10. Oklahoma 11. And this is a team that you never thought would be in the top 15, let alone if it started right now. I think they're in the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia number 12. Man, you would never think about it. 13, Texas Longhorns, horns down. Number 14, Louisville, right? They might lose their coach to Penn State. Vandy, 15, and guess who's 16? You know who it is. Your boys from Georgia Tech. I like Georgia Tech. I like the way they play. Number 17, Utah. 18, the U. 19, Missouri. Number 20, USC. 21, Michigan. Look at this right here. This can't. Number 22, Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis. Number 23, Tennessee after a loss to number 11, OU. Washington is number 24. They got to upgrade on they got promoted on their day off.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, 25. What's your thoughts? I mean, I can't.
I'm
anything BYU, I don't like.
You're surprised by it, but just knowing how we kind of talked about continuity before, and for how hard it is to get continuity, I'm not surprised to see just absolute chaos year in, year out. Even guys like Dabo Sweeney, like, and James Franklin, both this year, thought they had like good teams. We're talking about how I feel like this is a team that can make the run, and nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But then those teams had continuity. I can't make sense of the current era of college football because then you get a guy like Kurt Signetti, who's no problem. He's got the culture locked in 2 straight years in a row.
Yeah.
And all these other programs are kind of flustering.
Yeah.
Even for Texas and Arch Manning, it looked like they were going to have a really bad year. And then it was. Now they're slowly starting to pull it back together.
Right.
But I don't know. I really don't. I can't make sense of the teams. Like, I'd expect Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, surprised by Penn State, and surprised by Clemson.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm not going to be shocked to see some of these smaller schools
I mean,
make these runs.
did you see Dabo Sweeney's meltdown?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I understand that defense is highly paid.
Well, they weren't responding to him at all either, which was the crazy part.
No, because that's the problem that you run into.
Lost the team.
It's not lost the team. I don't think you can lose a team now.
I mean,
I don't think you can lose it. Here's what it is. Here's what they lost interest because they are collecting interest on that big money.
Yeah.
So you can't get through to them. They're just finishing out the season like they're doing you a favor so they can keep getting their paycheck.
I know, but you want to get a paycheck somewhere else. It's crazy. You just talked about when it matters. I mean, for these guys, even if it's about money.
But that's short-sighted because the pro scouts and the GMs are still going to call Dabo. Yeah. They're still going to call Tom Allen. They're still going to call linebacker coach so, D-line coach so-and-so. How did he finish the season? How was his work ethic? Is he coachable? Does he do the right things?
That's what I was surprised to see the guys so despondent.
Well, because they're short-sighted. They're young, fat pockets. Everybody in their everybody in the mom and friends are telling them you're going first round, and before the season you were the first round, so they keep going to that. But you've been playing like your 7th round, and they figure, all right, well, I'll get another chance. Heck, they could probably some of them come back to college and play good then. But it's a frustrating season. It probably started in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of regret there, and there's not a lot of self accountability, Dabo included. He'll tell you he needs to do a better job, and then somebody else. But when you're out there blowing a coach off like that, when you're playing bad, that's a habit. You just didn't go to the game Saturday in front of 90,000 people in Death Valley, decide to blow a coach off. You've been blowing coaches off your whole last year.
It's just a crazy look from Clemson.
Yeah,
that
talented team.
Yeah,
before the year, you could have argued that they had a schedule they could have possibly went undefeated.
They were again. Sweeney was calling like 16-0,
16-0, the number 1 pick in the draft in Klubnik.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't hear anything.
No, well, the quarterback battle to kick off the year. I don't think they'll fire Sweeney, but they fired Kelly.
Yeah,
the Klubnik versus Nussmeier.
Yeah, so it's just. You see LSU. They're just.
I wonder if there's just that many more distractions now, and maybe that's an easy.
I think there's a lot of parity
for coaches,
and I think there's a lot of parity, and that's which creates chaos, right? As much as people hated at Bama and Georgia and whoever was on top, even when we were rolling at Nebraska, there's a lot of parity, but then also I think it's hard to when you're paying these, and a lot of these guys are getting overpaid. That means the market obviously is generally tell you what you should get paid. That doesn't mean you deserve it. That doesn't mean you've earned it. So when you have a lot of guys that are getting grossly overpaid based on their production, their leadership, lack thereof, and all those categories, that's where the entitlement comes through. Well, that's where you see some of the laziness, and then you can't build a team around that.
And then all the extra distractions of just being a coach. Like that money stuff isn't only in the players; it's also the coach that's got to deal with a lot of that and trying to see where his guys are at.
He's spread thin. He's trying to keep a pulse on a team of guys that are, paid professionals now. And so,
every time you get a guy who's bought in, doing well for your program, that's the first one you got to defend.
Yeah, that's the first one you got to defend. That's the first one you got to try to keep away from.
And Holgorsen did a good job about that.
Yeah,
Emma Johnson.
Yeah, and you got to keep guys away from other schools. I mean, heck, you see it all the time. There was after the Alabama win against South Carolina, Kalen DeBoer was walking off the field. That is the big win, right? I think they came back, right? They had that exciting play at the end. They came back, and one of the coaches from South Carolina was talking to his backup quarterback. He had to
Mhm.
go snatch him off of there.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's aggressive as a doggy dog world out there, and everybody's trying to get good players. It lets me know one thing, Harrison. There's really not a lot of good football players out there. True football players. That's why you're trying to poach everyone that you can get.
Yeah, well, the craziest thing to me is how the market hasn't, because if at first the hope was like the market will level out. Like it's kind of crazy. It feels like a lot right now. It'll level out. It's like another 3 mil. You're hearing about 5 mil, and it just like hasn't leveled out.
No.
So I don't know when that stops either. And then, again, that's just when you don't know like what the ceiling is, and you're just kind of getting not necessarily made up numbers, but numbers where you're kind of pulling because it's not that easy of data to grab all the time. It creates even more chaos.
Yeah.
Like, what does it really cost to keep an elite team together? Everyone's going to give you a different number.
They're going to give you a different number, and you're going to have a different idea of what's the elite team. I think when you look at Ohio State,
Yeah, they might say 10 mil, just knowing that it actually takes 25 mil just to
Right.
keep you guys underpaid. Like,
yeah, they might do that, but also what's so much different is Ohio State had legitimate NFL players that all came back, and so you overpay for that. Or there's teams that tried to replicate that. Penn State did.
Yeah.
But the receivers weren't receiving, right?
Yeah.
Other schools have done it. I mean, where you have Texas Tech, they just went out and just got everybody and paid a premium for it. Now it worked out for them. They're ranked, but they're paying out. Is it really a return on investment when you paid all that money and you're not really in the college football playoffs right now?
it depends. Like, can you retain that culture that you got this year? And that's the question. Because with Michigan State, they had it, and then it fell apart when they had that portal class, and they just rattled off a bunch of wins. I think that was with Tucker, but
yeah, Mel Tucker,
Mhm. And then it fell apart.
and you had a Heisman-esque year from Kenneth Walker III.
But that culture never really set.
Never really set. The culture might have been there, but you didn't have that guy.
Once they're all gone,
Right.
it's kind of.
And it changes.
Yeah.
Quarterback played good. They had a couple decent receivers, and it was all set up by the running back. And if you don't have rinse and repeat, and I always say this, you might have players that come back off a previous year's team. They're still not the same players until they prove themselves again or showing that they have the same work ethic. I think that's what's facing Clemson. That's what's facing a lot of teams. It's hard to have some sort of reality when you're so young getting paid with low expectations, right? Because they're not going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody on the team getting fired.
Nope.
Right? So they have some security, but then also they don't have a sense of reality. And so that's where you see these meltdowns. But then also that's where you see the chaos in the rankings. Not once would you ever think coming into this that Memphis would be number 22 in the nation, considering the amount of teams that have 6 times as much financial support NIL was than they do probably on just a basic guess.
Yeah, well, for sure. Some of the most funded programs in the country this year lost their head coach.
Yeah, so, and you got to think,
Throwing Maryland over the weekend, even though that's not a top paid program.
Is that true or was that fake?
Oh, was it? Did I get what's it called?
Catfish?
Yeah, I might have got catfish.
With Mike Loxley?
Yeah.
I got the same thing.
Hugh Freeze is not catfish.
Yeah, Hugh
though, right?
Freeze.
Okay.
Hey, did you see how Hugh Freeze found out?
No.
So it was something with a tea time. I guess he must have had a stand at tea time, and it got canceled.
Okay.
So he played golf on Sunday, so he canceled it, and it must have been through, the university. But he got 15 mil. Or getting 15 mil.
Best job you can have is being a fired coach.
I just wonder if he was making the back nine and got the call to making the turn after he hit a ball in the water on a par 3. Hey Harrison,
that's true. That could have gone two ways. He was either having a great day on the golf course, and that was the best phone call.
Ever.
Yeah, and that was the best phone call he got. Like, you know what? That's all right. Or he was really struggling. He was on a triple bogey.
Yeah.
And he just hit one on the water.
Yeah.
And he got that call.
I wonder if it was like he just had won a 4-hole carryover and got an emergency call from his agent. He's like, "What are you doing?" Oof. Man, I just won $4,000. Oh, yeah? Are you sitting down? No, I'm about to tee off. No, you're not. You got to go into the office. But either way, I mean,
We got 15
as
million.
much as we joke about it, he gets paid, and obviously the assistants that get paid. There's a lot of people that are affected by it because everybody that worked for him got to move and probably get another job too. So it's not all fun and games. I mean,
You know
Auburn,
how they should do those contracts? If not only you as the head coach, like that should get hacked up to everyone else that's leaving with you.
Why?
It will never happen. Just
No.
in a perfect world. Because I mean the amount of money. I mean that's why it's I don't know if
they never pay coaches things that they can't pay for or afford.
Yeah.
So
in a nice world.
I mean, look, everybody's worried about the money, and also I think Hugh Freeze is a good enough coach and a young enough coach. He'll be back working.
For
Franklin. Sure. So the buyout isn't truly the buyout. Now you got to pay that up until they get employed. I mean, you know, Scott Frost is making what $4 million or something at UCF, and so Nebraska's not on the hook, you know, for much of that anymore. And so that's what happens when you have young coaches or coaches that still want to coach. You can coach a lot longer than people really, you know, give you credit for. So as long as you have the want to coach, as we've seen, there's plenty of openings. I mean, there's like 25 openings.
Yeah, it's unreal.
I mean,
and a lot there's major ones.
There's sneaky good jobs. Like Arkansas could be a good job. Auburn could be a good job if you can handle the short leash. Florida, Penn State, LSU. You got blue bloods that you haven't heard a peep about who's going to be the coach over there.
No, that's why I'm curious where this carousel goes and you know where these contracts going to be. If you're a coach right now, I'll tell you what, it's a good time to be in the mix.
Yeah,
they're going to have a lot of. I mean,
well, the SMU coach, who SMU's not ranked, but the team went to the college football playoff last year and got obliterated by Penn State. He just got like a contract to make him the top 10 coach. You ain't even ranked. It's just on the just on the whim that you might be out.
Well, I mean, even with Matt Rule, I'm not here to say we shouldn't have done it, but we paid him before that USC game even happened. Up until that point, our big wins were Cincinnati and Colorado, which that was a good Colorado team, but it was an effect of just the chaos that was happening outside of, okay, let's lock this guy down.
Yeah, it was probably more legit that he might leave to go to Penn State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's
versus this dude going somewhere. This dude wasn't going from SMU to Penn State. He wasn't going from SMU to LSU, SMU to Florida.
Oklahoma State.
That's fine. Would you? Okay, let me ask you this: SMU got Dallas oil money, or are you going to go to Oklahoma State? The team is horrible. You already got it. They're probably that. So there was no fear of him leaving. You just need to upgrade his contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, now if he was one of the blue bloods was calling for him, well then sure. Which I think is a different thing right here. There's definitely that connection.
Think Grudenhoff's back into the game?
He wants to coach. He's already said he wants to coach, and he wants to coach in the SEC. Now he's saying that because I think at that time he was talking to Georgia. I mean, he wants to coach. I don't know where.
Like Florida? Would he fit Florida?
I mean, he can. I'm sure he. I mean, he's got a personality. He can recruit. I just wonder what type of staff he'd put together.
Well, with how much he hates a lot of the NIL stuff today.
Yeah,
I wonder if he can get through to those players.
Well, I think he can get through the players. I just wonder how he would.
Because Bill's trying this year and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, I mean, Gruden's different. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff he's got to clean up with the NFL first.
Yeah.
And it might be that he knows he's got to go back to college to coach because he's probably going to win a significant amount of money from the Raiders in the NFL.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he knows.
And he knows. So I'm willing to bet that he's like, I'll probably never get hired by an owner again. So he wants to be a head coach. I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure he would adapt to it. I'm sure he's,
he's personable enough.
Yeah. I'm
to
sure
where he could lay down the law and still be a likable guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, that Hard Knocks speech when he when he went from 0 to 100, talking about better execution. Yeah, he'll get your attention real quick. So, anyways, we'll take a quick break. Come back. Jay Foreman Harrison, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and
load up on meat, and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Harrison, Old School. Quick segment here. About an hour and 6 minutes, Nebraska tips off on Big Ten Network. And obviously we got NFL football. The Cardinals against, who are they playing? Who are the Cardinals playing? I forget who they're playing.
Cowboys.
Yeah. This must win for the Cowboys.
Yeah. It was a fun weekend in the NFL.
Man. Did you see that Green Bay game?
The Green Bay game? Even the Chiefs-Bills.
Chiefs-Bills.
Was good. Bengals-Bears?
What about your Bears?
Hey,
what about your Bears, though?
Yeah, we'll take that.
You caused them some infighting in there.
Well, I mean, that is what the Commanders did to the Bears last year.
Yeah.
It made them just have not even
a meltdown.
Yeah.
It's full-fledged meltdown.
Like question your morality a bit. Not even just a football play.
It just brought it to light.
Yeah. So
because when you got two of your offensive players like calling the defense out, well, first of all, did you see any of the defensive lowlights? They weren't even trying.
It was pretty bad.
It was bad.
Even like that last play at the end there with Loveland, like I get it, it's a bigger guy, but how are you making a
that's fine. But I'm talking about the ones where just lack of effort that Stewart, the first round pick that held out. I mean, he didn't even try. I mean, he got obliterated by number 58.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are the plays that are like, where's your pride? You should be. If I was Cincinnati, and Mr. Brown, the owner, I was thinking about. I know he wanted to do that. In his contract, how many games you're active, you get a bonus. I'd make him inactive. The way that they played, I'm gonna tell you this honest to God truth. I'm happy for you and your Bears. Was embarrassing for anybody that ever played defense in the NFL. The way that the Cincinnati Bengals played with that effort. And they got a good coach. I think it was Al Golden's the defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing, man.
When you get an offense like that is down and you put up those kind of points.
Yes.
You're expecting it.
But I'm talking about if you just got beat by like Randy Moss and them and they're just better than you, that's one thing. Trying and quitting is another thing. That's embarrassing. I mean, the thing that these young dudes don't understand, and it goes to college too. That you're getting paid well right now, but you're gonna get somebody fired, and that dude ain't gonna bring you nowhere. These coaches are like elephants; they got memories forever. Isn't that with elephants?
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Bear down.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Hey,
That's
I don't
good.
mind at all, Bengals. You do you.
It was funny though. It was funny.
It was-
I said, go ahead,
Yeah.
Bears. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Harrison, Old School. We'll holler at you tomorrow.